order of the Griggs Commission at 1 o'clock, September 9th, 2016. Stand for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, roll call. John. Here. Dale.
Here.
Ron.
Here.
Sean. Here. Troy's here. Okay, anything to add or subtract from the agenda?
Approve the agenda as presented.
Moved by Sean to approve the agenda as presented. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Seconded by Dale. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, we'll start out with the August 19th minutes.
Question on the second page, you got PJ flooring with a dollar amount and a number in front of it, right in the middle for in the wrong place.
Where are you looking?
Page 2,
Right there.
well, fourth, right after the fourth.
You guys approved the 50%.
Oh, that's
That's what this is?
Yep,
Okay,
that was that check that we wrote for 50%.
so this is a check number
Correct.
and then, okay.
Yep.
Seems like it should say that. That the commissioners approved 50% rather than just.
Yeah, I just looked odd,
It
in
just-
the middle of two
I mean,
paragraphs.
some-
Well, it says motion by Dahl to accept K&J's bid and pay 50
okay, all right, it's part of that paragraph.
Yeah. And so I made it in the same format as the rest of your bills.
Okay.
check numbers in sequence with the last one on the first page.
Okay.
Is it unclear? Do you?
No, that's fine.
Not now.
Well, I just want to make it clear to the rest of the public. I mean, they're not.
I move to approve the August 19th minutes.
Been
as
moved.
presented.
It's been moved by Dale to approve the August 19th minutes as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second this.
Seconded by Ron. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now the 26th. On page 5, first meeting.
This was a regular meeting, was it?
The special
Special.
meeting.
Well, it says minute regular.
Oh, it says regular session.
Yeah.
so it should say special session.
Yeah. I can't remember what the purpose of the meeting was. What?
Budget.
Budget, okay. Yeah. That's what I thought.
Actually,
Talked about the budget in that one, and then we had one right after that, and we did the,
It was the budget and then the new courthouse on the one and then the liquor license on the other.
Okay, so I move to approve the August 26th meeting minutes as presented and dispensed with the reading for the budget meeting.
do you want to fix that first?
Or, yeah, as, and fix the regular session, just special session.
Been moved by Ron to approve the August 26th special session minutes as corrected. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Dale. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, then we had a special session at 4:35 that day also. The only agenda item was a liquor license and something.
I move to approve the second meeting on August 26th as presented and dispense with the reading.
Been moved by Sean to approve the minutes of the second special meeting on August 26th and dispense with the reading. Is there a second on the motion? Seconded by Dale. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And last, we had a special meeting on August 30th.
It's not last.
Oh, it's not last? Oh, it's not last.
Almost did.
Almost last. Oh, we don't need to approve those meeting minutes. That wasn't a meeting. Dale and I were the only two there.
This is the same way that I did the township meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When there was
two
only-
there.
there was
Like
only
you and
two.
me were the only two there, and we had a meeting.
I mean,
You're actually, well, I mean, it's kind of
It's
vague,
fine.
but if you're actually attending a meeting as to conduct county business, it really, that two-person thing doesn't really come into account. Even one person can constitute a meeting if you're conducting county business on behalf of the commission.
Technically.
And it was announced as a meeting.
Yeah, the two-person thing is just if there happen to be two people sitting around discussing the non-county business, it's a meeting of three, if you understand that. It's kind of a silly law, but.
it don't matter. I mean,
Right.
the recording's all on the website. So,
Right.
I mean,
Maybe this would be this.
It's whatever you guys would like to do. The minutes are done. Otherwise, we can just.
No, I mean, it was noticed, so it was like.
okay. See any additions or corrections?
No, I move to approve the August 30th meeting minutes as presented.
And move.
dispense with the reading.
It's been moved by Ron to approve the August 30th meeting minutes and dispense with the reading. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Sean. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, September 2nd, special meeting. We must have took action on how to proceed, didn't we? Or not? We didn't. Okay.
We talked about the various options, but we didn't really take action on them,
Okay.
if I remember correctly.
Okay. Any additions or corrections?
I move to approve the September 2nd special meeting. Dispense with the reading.
It's been moved by Dale to approve the September 2nd special meeting minutes and dispense with the reading. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Seconded by Ron. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. Bills. How come we bought 12 atlases or black books?
Pop books, then we sell them. We have them in my office and then we sell them that way.
Really?
Do we make a profit?
A little bit, yep. If we divided it out correctly, it's about $31.25 a book, and we're charging 33. So just a little, but
So are those the big ones or are they just 8.5 by 11s?
just the little ones.
Just the little
Yeah.
ones.
So I suppose that's a special revenue account then.
It's a sideline just water. It's not easier. Put the money back in.
Well, do they get sold?
hmm
Who buy them?
Hunters or,
Really?
yeah.
Because I think everybody gets one in the mail for nothing, don't we?
And then if you want another one, you have to pay. I think that you have to pay $35 if you want it from those people, and then we charge 33. So it's better if you come to us. Is what I was told, but
That's kind of undermining private industry. You're underselling private industry.
Taxpayers are paying their fixed costs.
Page 11, I guess it is. How did the historical expense get to be negative?
where are you at?
Oh, down about 3 inches from the top.
Historical Society balance. I think it's just because we don't have a budget in there,
Oh.
but I could be
I
wrong.
mean, there also is the library, so is the,
Yeah, the library doesn't have a budget in, so we've paid out year to date 76,000.
No, okay.
Any other questions on the bills?
the purple one is over, that's what it's about, that's one.
The ones that are highlighted, those are going to go over when if you approve this.
I move to approve the vouchers as presented.
So moved by Dale to approve vouchers as presented. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second the motion.
Seconded by Dale. Is there any discussion?
I can't do that.
What's that? Seconded by Sean, I mean.
That would be very awesome.
Is there any discussion? Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. John?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Ron? Sean?
Aye.
Troy votes aye. Motion carried.
But that was dictatorship.
Monthly office reports.
Thank you.
You guys spraying, apparently?
There's some cattails and stuff. Aquastar.
What's that?
Aquastar.
I saw that. Trying to get them to lay down before winter, you mean?
Some for visibility and some for snow stopping. Some intersections that you can't see, you know, like a cornfield or a corner. but-
Any questions on the monthly office reports?
I'd move to approve the monthly office reports as presented.
Then Sean moved to approve the monthly office reports. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Seconded by Dale. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay, Wayne?
Okay, I see the first thing in the booklet is it's a reminder of that October 11th meeting, that's the DOT. And I have the letter that you signed to bring you to that.
Okay.
So, our projected projects, another thing is the annual local work conference in South Dakota. Anybody interested in going? Pretty good stuff. It's October 19th to the 20th. 18th is when we leave. Geogrid stabilization, you show us all words, which we didn't have a project in there this year. Asphalt roadways, local road safety, culvert basics, slip lining, load securement, CDL requirements, round table discussion of tire basics, equipment contract, legal aspects, that's Aaron Burst from the Association of Counties, we'll have that. Traffic incident management, resource and partnership opportunities, extending 3R standards to county systems, and a geogrid demo project and gravel crushing specs for counties. Anybody's interested, I would recommend.
Okay.
Ron?
I don't think I'm gonna take vacation for that.
Okay, if, let me know in the next couple of days or whatever.
Okay.
And then we've got,
Reimbursement request.
for project CNO 2003-59, that's North River project.
Yep, there should, in the bill, there should have been an estimate for Knife River, $402,803.51.
Yep.
And that was for Knife River's construction project that was completed. So that covers the whole cost of the project besides 5% retainage. Now with that project, their last 2 days of hauling, they had failing tests both days. And total deductions on that project equal $22,068.99. Now if they would have hauled the following day after those two, we would have been able to shut them down and until they mix their gravel up or do something else. But since it was the last day, it was just, they just had to take it. Yeah, that deduction has been deducted off the pay estimate that we're paying today.
Okay.
Other than that, all our construction projects are done for the year, so that's nice. We got all that, everything done for the year.
Yeah, everything got rained on, we're going into fall, that's great.
That's pretty good.
Also in your packets, there should be a map and a project list. You guys had asked me to come up with some projects at the last meeting. So far, we've identified 6 projects. So some of them are the same ones we looked at last year. But just running through the map and the list real quick. You've got the Dahl Bridge, and then a graveling project on Highway 22 from Sutton to the Steele County line. A graveling project on Highway 28 from Highway 3 to Karnak. And a graveling project on Highway 19 from Highway 26 to the Barnes County line. And the Decker Bridge is on there. And also, we added a project to look at Highway 2 from North Dakota Highway 1 all the way to the pavement. I did talk to DOT on the Decker Bridge, and they said we have to use our House bill funds by June of 2019. So if that project was bid in 2020, the Decker Bridge, like it's programmed to be on the federal aid sheet, we wouldn't be able to use House bill funds. So, I mean, granted, we don't know what the future looks like for, future state funds. At this point, it's not looking that great in the near future, but
Right.
it can always change. So we can either try to move that bridge forward a couple years, which is up to DOT ultimately. Or if you wanted to for sure do it, we could use local share, which is estimated $230,000. Or we can just hold off on that bridge for a while. So I know I think it's kind of a split thought process on that.
Weren't you gonna ask if it could be moved up?
I asked if we could use those funds.
I thought you were gonna ask the state if it could be moved up to 2019,
Okay,
but
and
I misunderstood. Because, it wouldn't hurt to ask, because I thought it's kind of where we left it. But all they can do is say no.
But if the state funding dries up, I think we have better places to use those funding that we have in place now than there. If there's no funding going forward, I don't know that that's the best use of those funds.
if you want us to ask if we can move it up, a good time to do that would be at this federal aid meeting that me and Wayne will be going to in October, because then they got all the local government, DOT guys, right there at the table with us. And then they'll be able to give us a straight answer, yes or no, rather than trying to go through lots of different.
So you want to move it to 18?
Yeah, so technically we would have to move it to 18, so we could do the construction in 19,
Right.
so.
You can ask them.
Okay, and I'll write that down, we'll ask them that on October 11th. So, I don't know, I guess, do you guys have any feedback on the projects that we're looking at on the map there? So, all of the roads that are highlighted in that orange, dashed orange, those are new graveling projects. Everything that's highlighted in blue is what we've done this year and last year for graveling projects. And then I also added that Sutton Road overlay that we did, must have been 3 years ago now, that used state funding on. And then we have those 2 structure replacements kind of in the northeast corner of the county there, the Decker Bridge and the Doll Bridge. So I guess the question is, if you guys want us to add a couple more options, we can look at more stuff there. If you know for sure you want to do a couple of these projects, let us know on that and we can start the process.
So there's some county roads, like County Road 15, it's just not being gravelled, I take it.
It was done this year.
It was already done. That's the Macville Road.
Well, no, I mean, I guess from Highway 1,
Most south.
or Highway 1 to Highway 45. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good road.
Pretty good road. There's not as much traffic on that as there is like the north part. A lot more traffic going from Nelson County.
Okay, yeah, it's probably doesn't need it, I guess.
Oh, I see. By Lake 5, you meant.
Yeah, down there.
It is used quite a bit. I know they use the township road a lot when they come across the semis. They should go on the county road. But it's not in too bad a shape right now. Certainly could be looked at.
Well, I guess it's up to us, though. Maybe it's better just, we're turning money back, right? We're not using all the funding.
No, we'll be using all of it.
Oh, does this add up to the total funding?
We'll be short about 70,000 of using all of our funding.
Oh.
I mean, and that's obviously if these bids come in again like they did this year.
But that includes the Decker Bridge?
Nope, the Decker Bridge wasn't included because we couldn't use that House bill funding if we left it in.
No, I wasn't aware that they were using all the funding.
Yep, so now that all our construction projects are done, we got a pretty good estimate. We should have around $475,000 left of our Senate bill fund, 2103 funds. And then we haven't used any of the House bill funds. So total, we have just over 1.9 million in state funding left. That's 100%. They cover 100% of the cost. So if we add up all the projects we have on here, minus the Decker Bridge, that comes out to 1.833 million. So we got about 70,000 left of state funds if all the projects come in close to what we're estimating. And I did lower these estimates a little bit, so hopefully they're closer to the projects. But this year everything was really low, and honestly, I think next year we might even see better prices because just knowing how much work is that we're working on for the winter and how much construction work there's going to be next summer, people are going to be begging for work.
It's quiet.
Yeah, there's not much at all. Because most counties spent all their Senate bill money last year and all their House bill money this year. So on the county side, it's very quiet. There'll be some big state projects, but some of these smaller contractors, they don't do that kind of work. So,
Excellent.
so I think they're gonna be hungrier next year
The
than
only
they were
problem
this
is the
year.
gravel.
Yeah, and that's the one thing, if the graveling sources are running out in Griggs County, then that obviously could push prices up. But I think some of these big contractors, like this year Red Knife River come in, they're gonna be doing whatever they can just to keep their guys working, even if they're losing money. So,
Okay.
so I'd assume our bid prices, I would hope they'll be close to what we had this year. So, which were very good prices, lowest we've seen in many years, so.
I think we need a motion to submit that reimbursement. That's in your packet, before we forget and move on.
You know, I'll move to submit reimbursement request on project 059.
Been moved by Ron to submit the reimbursement request to the state on project 059. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Seconded by Dale. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. John?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Ron? Sean?
Aye.
Troy votes aye. Motion carries. So, we can ponder these a little bit more?
Yeah, if you want
Okay.
to. The only one I'd be concerned about getting going on sooner than later is the Gall Bridge, because we have to get wetland stuff done this fall if we want to bid it anytime next spring. And that, the cutoff date for that is typically mid-October to mid-November, depending on the year. Because they can't go out and do their survey if all vegetation is dead. It needs to be green yet and growing.
Right, but that, we could do that in 18 too if we wanted to, right?
Yes, yeah. This money doesn't have to be spent until June.
Because that bridge isn't, that's not a panic thing, I don't think,
Okay.
is it really? I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
speaking
fine.
for myself.
Yeah, just if you wanted to do it 17, we would need to get on that soon. Other than that, I mean, honestly, all these projects could get done in the summer of 18. Yeah,
Sure.
so we have time for sure.
Okay.
Should there be, like, the bids all come in 10% less, should there be another, rather than just returning that money, should there be another project that could make up that 180,000?
We wouldn't return it, we would bid another project.
Okay, that's in the plan
Yeah.
already, okay.
Yeah, we wouldn't, they don't have, yeah, typically, nobody returns any of the money. Everything's always used up, so, and we'll use it somewhere. But would you guys like, I mean, is there any other roads that you think you'd like us to look at? That you can think of now, or you just want to sit there, just keep this and look at it, talk amongst yourselves a little bit? It's up to you.
Well, the Hannaford Road, that's all done, right? How about that Karnak Road?
Yeah, that's on the current.
That's in here? That's on this list?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right here,
The
no,
one going south to
option,
Barnes County.
option
Okay.
3,
Yeah.
17 miles.
Okay.
So that'd be good to get that done too.
Right.
A lot of
Because
trucks-
that's a really busy road.
A lot of train trucks and.
So, yeah, you guys want to keep that and think about it for a while, that's perfectly fine. You come back next meeting or the meeting after, I might not be available next meeting, as of right now, I'm scheduled for jury duty, so if that goes through, I won't be here. But probably.
I don't know, stuff to go for a drive to, I mean, I don't know, Wayne, what other roads need
I mean,
attention?
there's other roads, you know, we got 11, we got 9. 11 goes past Painters.
You gravelled that last summer, didn't you?
Gravels, yeah, some of, and it turned out all right after that initial spring deal. It's been firm all summer. 22, that's the good one, it's gonna be gravel that's on there, that's all the way to Sutton. A lot of traffic on that one too. 5 out of west of Binford goes south past Evers. I think we're gonna do that next year ourselves if Tom gets some more gravel put up in that Christensen pit that's right there, right by it. Maybe, or we can go out, we can gravel out of the Iversons too, I guess, so.
Can't we use that for house projects? Or can't we use house bill money for, if we do it ourselves?
You can use it for materials. You just have to submit all of your paperwork. Yeah. I mean, in time to, yeah, it comes back to just everything you have documented, you can get reimbursed for. If it's for a road, that would be approved, so common gravel road would be.
Do we have to meet with that council?
Yeah,
Or do
well,
we
we just send it in, yeah.
But we can't get reimbursed for our own manpower and equipment?
Yeah, you can.
Oh,
Yeah, you can for your labor, equipment, materials, anything you can have documentation.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense to use our own resources if we can, you know, what the heck.
Just, we might not get it all done in 2 years. The 3 trucks, you know, unless we hired somebody.
But you can always hire some trucks on, you're still using some of your resources.
I don't know how it goes to the laws or whatever regulations, I guess, probably can.
Yeah.
So, is that one of the ones that's on the list? The one you're gonna do yourself?
No.
So shouldn't that be added? That's what I'm getting at here.
Which one was that one?
5, was it?
5 and 14.
5 all the way between 200 and Binford.
Binford to Highway 200?
Mm-hmm. I was gravel the north part this summer.
You already did?
The north from Binford north to
Oh.
29, we can just submit a bill.
So 5 is 9 miles. 14 is 4 miles.
You did gravel that? On number 5 or number 3?
Number 5.
You guys did it yourself, you mean?
Yeah.
So why wouldn't we?
But we put like 500 yards a mile, not 3.
Oh, you didn't put enough, you didn't uprate the road? I see.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's part of it too.
I mean, you'd have to do that, but
And you gotta have compaction, you gotta have water, and, you know, which we want that. Oh, our truck, we got packers on the back. And of course, yeah, we just put a cover coat on basically to try to patch it up, so it's not all muddy and rocks sticking up.
okay. Anybody else have anything for William, Judd, and Jacob? Okay.
Alright.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you.
If anyone has any questions too, don't hesitate to email me or call me too if you
Thank
think
you.
on this project.
My budget coming up today.
Well, budget's on the agenda. I don't know how far we're gonna get into it today.
Yeah,
Depends on-
I don't think we're gonna approve, I mean, we're just, Jeff, you wanna talk about it, you can explain some things to us. I don't think we're to a position where we're gonna approve anything, we just
I don't
want
think so.
to ask some questions.
All right. You guys have a good weekend.
Yep. Thanks.
Yep, thanks, Jake. Julie,
Are you ready?
yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna move up here so I can see everybody. Grab this chair. So I'm just gonna slide through.
There's no cows in your pasture this year.
What's that?
There's no cows in your pasture.
No cows in our pasture?
Isn't that your pasture right north going up that road there?
Well, it used to be. That's all been sold.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, that's all been sold, so.
Who bought that?
Sure, now he's testing my memory. You didn't tell me that's not part of the question.
It don't matter.
I'll for the joint floor, how does that sound, okay? Pasture, I'm not sure. That was so long time ago.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
when the folks, Ringstead bought the property,
The house and stuff.
right, that part, but, the pasture was sold, I think, even before that, so.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, anyway, for the official record, this is the public hearing for Nelson Griggs District Health Unit. I think on the agenda we've got us Griggs Nelson. So our legal name is Nelson Griggs. So just thought I'd make sure for the record that this is the official public hearing. I saw you have about 15 minutes of time allotted for this because usually what we do is a high gloss of the budget. And then what we do is set the joint board meeting with Griggs and Nelson together up in Macville. So that'll be where we go through it in a lot more detail. So this is the high view of the budget that was sent. It was sent right in after the Board of Health meeting, and Samantha's had it on file. So I don't know if anybody from the public has come in and asked for it. And I'm assuming you're here for your own budgets more so than public hearing for us. So again, basically, with the income, I tried to put in the darker print, the key category, like for bioterrorism grant. I tried to emphasize for you the grant part of it. If you get to disease control, one of the things I did a little bit different this year was I tried to reformat it so that instead of breaking it down to Medicare, Blue Cross, all the individual payers like I had in previous budget line items, I combined them all together. So looking at the health insurance payers of $150,000 and the $2,500 in grants, that totals the $152,500 when you're looking at that as subcategories of the budget. As far as other grants, if you remember, we've talked about the Public Health Nursing Conference. We've served as the fiscal agent for that. We're actually coming up on the third conference in 2017 in which our office is one of the co-chairs, and then we also serve for the fiscal agent for that. So again, that's what we expect to bring in for serving as a fiscal agent. We do the Nelson County Wellness Program, so I just itemized that one there. Health Alert Network, if you remember when I've talked about that before, that income is a wash with whatever is down in expense under HON T1 lines. And what that is, it's the video conferencing connectivity, and so we get reimbursed for whatever connection fees come through. So no matter what dollar amount is, they reimburse us directly for those costs. We don't get any coverage for any time doing the reports and things, but the actual costs are just a wash. So if I put 10,000, if that was based on last year's cost, we'd have 10,000 in expense. So it's a complete wash.
That's a T1 connection?
That's the whole system. Every public health system and hospital has like video conferencing equipment and the connectivity fees and everything that goes along with it. So that's just the connection fees. We pay ITD and DCN, is it Dakota Carrier Network, I think? Those are the two entities that we get bills from.
Okay.
And then so after those bills are paid, then we turn around and get reimbursement from the HON grant for doing that. Okay? Or are you thinking of a question?
No, I'm just, when I think of T1, I think of there's no such thing anymore, and now it's all done through the internet.
Well,
And it's
that-
not usually that expensive anymore.
That's everything. That's of, we don't pay additional internet fees either. That all is part of it. So I guess I just use that same line
Right.
for that. There was talk at one time of the state taking over the payments for it, but that was a year ago. And I haven't heard anything more from them, so
Probably won't.
I don't expect to. But they talked about it, as I said, that won't bother me. It's one less paperwork item.
Right.
So home visits, again, typically we see people about 2 times a month for those that are our regular clients. Interest is for the CDs, the checking account, things like that. Based on our audit report this year, we did the fiscal audit for our health unit, and the recommendation was to combine it into $1 amount and let the 2 county auditors and the counties figure out the prorated value. It's the same amount that we've asked for the last couple of years, 2-3 years, is $75,000. We aren't asking for any more. And so that would be prorated. Nelson County ends up about 41, 42,000, and then Griggs
It's
is
based on population, is that how that's done?
it's based on the taxable land
Oh,
valuation.
it's taxable value, okay.
Yeah, and that's how, what the Century Code says is that it's prorated equitably.
I see.
And so his recommendation was just to combine it, because before I had a dollar amount for Nelson and a dollar amount for Griggs.
I
And we
see.
knew those were estimated values,
Right.
and so it was just to show you the breakdown.
So you just take the total land value of Nelson, divide up by the total land value of Griggs County.
Percentage.
And the percentage wise, and multiply the percentage times 75.
So it works out about, it's been about the same, it's been about that kind of a distribution since.
It'll change some this year because of that CHS thing for.
But he said, he thought it was a better, his recommendation was just to put it as $1 amount, and then when we get the income, of course, we track it separately within in-house.
Right.
But that would be the exact same amount that we've had from before, is the 75,000. And then that's what traditionally you've approved at the joint board meeting. That'll be no sooner than 15 days from this public hearing. Questions on that? Otherwise, I'll just keep going. Okay. As far as the rent is the same, Dr. Dunham pays us for the office rent, but also for one day a week administrative assistance for his eye appointments, things like that. Schools are based on a set amount. We actually dropped that a little bit since the school enrollment seemed to be a little less. Stiff SIG, if you remember, those are the monies that come from the alcohol prevention grant. And those are the monies that we are anticipating that we'll spend in 2017. Some of that will be variable. So that's kind of always been the hard one. The auditor said that that was always interesting when you try to figure out those kind of monies ahead of time, when all the other grants are usually services done and then reimbursed. So that's the one that kind of skewers everything. State aid and tobacco state aid are set by the legislature. And so those are the dollar amounts that the legislators set once the session gets in hand. Any of the grants, any of the legislative monies runs July 1 through June 30th, whereas we run on a calendar year too. So keep that in mind, so that, with an upcoming legislative session, that may change for July 1, 2017. Tobacco grant, that's the amount that we've been getting, or that's what we could be applying for, and that's what was approved for that grant. That may change in the future as we talked again, because we are in, I think it's the 7th year of what they call the sunset clause of those those monies that were approved by the initiated measure, and so that may change. Now, the question I got in Nelson County, and I said I would research it a little bit more, is should Measure 4 pass, which is the increase on the tobacco tax, there would be monies coming through for local public health services. But again, since I can only educate you on the bill, I cannot tell you how to vote. But again, I'll find a little more quick facts for the joint board on how that might filter down. There was talk at one time of how it would be distributed through the counties. So I don't think all the details are completely worked out because, again, they're waiting to see how that'll change should the election come through in November. Cash reserves, again, looking at cash reserves may or may not change. Depends on how the expenses turn out. Again, those have been categorized for when we get to the bottom half. Remember that with some of the grants, payroll expenses and personnel costs are included in the grant, and so that's what's included in the payroll costs. It's not always a wash like I was talking about with the Health Alert Network monies. As you know, health insurance is going to increase. I heard 17%.
I've heard 15.
I heard 15%, so I budgeted for 15%. When I was in Nelson County this morning, she heard 17.4%. So I guess we'll wait till July and see how that goes. But, I did budget for an increase. And so we'll see how the PERS bills go through. Otherwise, everything else is pretty self-explanatory. We did build the board did approve adding an additional employee pending how this all shakes out with budget and the SPIF-SIG monies. I'm not sure quite which direction I want to go with an additional employee, if I would like to look at another nurse, but I know I'm not keeping up on everything. The option is if you look at another nurse or you look at a health educator, someone that can do like the alcohol prevention things that isn't necessarily a nurse. There's not a lot of nurses floating around that don't have a job already or that don't want to, that are looking for employment. So that may vary a little bit. So we did build that in this budget. Again, retirement program supplies. Remember that when the state, one of the questions that they asked in Nelson County had to do with the state aid cuts. And I said, I think your state aid is considered different than our state aid because our state aid is through the health department's budget. And one of the things that they've already cut at the health department at the state level was they changed the program that was providing vaccines from a universal status for a universal program. Health departments got the vaccine at no cost, and then they were only able to bill an administrative fee. For all the health departments, there was only 4 of us that stayed non-universal. So we kept buying the private vaccine, kept billing people for their insurance. We also have that pot, remember, if they don't have insurance or if they're Medicaid, we have those vaccines. But that was the big state cut. So we don't anticipate the state aid being cut, but I understand that was what was talked about at the county level or at the state level. So those 2 state aid pots are different, just for clarification. And that was kind of it. I left you about 3 minutes for questions before the official public hearing is closed, or things that you would like specifically addressed at the joint board, because we need to look at dates. So, Dale, any questions? I'll just kind of do it this way and make sure
I was just looking at, your income received for tobacco secession or whatever, it's like 77,000, but your expenses are only 11.
Remember that payroll expenses, that salaries for doing those programs, that's included in payroll. Yeah. So that's more the travel, the supplies, anything, signage, anything like that that is not payroll. That's where it doesn't. That's why it's hard to pull it out and explain it. I mean, I've got everything at the office. But those are what happens with the grants a lot of times, is I put that money into payroll expense. John?
No, I understand it.
Okay?
I'm good.
Okay? Oh, yeah.
What you said on state aid, this state aid is set by the legislature.
Right.
And there's another, are you getting another pot of state aid or not?
It's tobacco state aid. When you look at,
Okay,
there's state aid that comes from the health department,
Okay.
and then there's tobacco state aid, but that also is set by the legislators.
Okay.
But counties get state aid, I believe, right? What I was saying is those are different.
Yeah, because those are going down. quite a bit.
That's what I was hearing. So that was the question, if mine would go down also, and I said, they're different.
Yeah, I thought maybe you had some that was not set, but if it's all set here.
The tobacco state aid was a result of the lawsuit that sued all the
Tobacco
all the
companies.
companies.
It's the state aid and also the tobacco grant monies, but remember, that's, yeah, there's all of
So
that.
that will sunset at some time.
Yeah, and then of course that's what we're concerned about, is that they'll, with legislative action, take that out. If the measure doesn't pass, then I'm not quite sure what'll happen, so that'll be part 2. So it's kind of up in the air with the legislature as it is right now. So looking at dates, if I can ask you to consider that now so that I can put it on my calendar, get everything prepared. We can't meet sooner than 15 days from this public hearing. And so that puts us on a Saturday, which I didn't think anybody wanted to meet on. Monday, we have the eye doctor there, so that's not a good day. And Tuesday, we're down here for immunizations. Nelson County was thinking that September 29th was a Thursday. That was their first choice, with the 28th being a second choice. So I could give you some options, a whole 2 options, at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm not sure who I have to give a bad time about, but it's a.m.
Me.
Okay.
Didn't that used to go back and forth?
It used to always, when I first started, we always met up in Lakota.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and after that I said, you know, I'm tired of carrying 2 boxes of stuff in, not knowing what kind of questions to ask. And the chairmanship varies, but we've had it at the office. We've had it at the office because then it's sort of equal distant for driving.
Well, it works for me. I'm right across the street.
But I think we had to call you last year to, if
Probably.
I'm not mistaken.
Didn't take me long to get there.
I came a week early.
You came a week early and then a half hour late. And then I think I did I have you guys on I had 2 cell phones.
I was on the cell phone.
You were cell phone
I thought
too.
it was at 8 p.m.
And you were on cell phone. And
I have no recollection.
you had an excuse.
You were gone.
I know what your excuse was. You told me you had some kind of a water board meeting or something that you said took priority than meeting with me. So, back to the calendars.
Yeah.
29 is fine for me.
I think
That's
they
a
did
Thursday, I believe.
Yeah, September 8th.
Taylor's in Louisiana Gator.
Okay, so everybody looks okay with September 29th at 9 o'clock, or 8 o'clock, excuse me, 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
You see.
The farmers want to get out in the field.
Field.
AM. AM.
Okay.
So that works?
As far as I know.
Fine with me.
Okay. Jamie, I have one quick question for you. We are planning an emergency preparedness pod exercise. Do you want to be involved as the PIO for Nelson County?
I suppose it should be.
It's entirely up to you, because
Yeah,
we're gonna run it as probably a flu clinic, and so we're gonna do a real condensed one. They need a full-scale exercise, and I'm gonna do the minimal to satisfy everybody.
Okay. Yeah, I can be involved.
Okay. And then, are you also PIO for Griggs County? So who's PIO for Griggs County? Public Information Officer.
For the DES, I suppose. We have a DES officer.
Right.
And I think he's kind of assumed the role,
Okay.
or I assume he's doing it. We haven't designated.
Okay.
No. Good enough.
We could just add that to Jamie's duties. Since he's got practice for Nelson County, right? Okay, anything else, gentlemen? Anything you want me to have researched by the time I come? Or by the time you get there in the office?
I don't think so.
No, I'm good.
Okay, well, thank you much.
Yep,
And
thank you.
We will see you on the 29th, 8 a.m. I'll send a note or a postcard or something. Please read it.
I'll notice the meeting as well.
Yeah, and again, it's up to you. It's entirely up. Cheryl was going,
Getting
I
there.
have to be there at 8? I said, you're welcome to come, you don't have to come. So you're saying that you're welcome to come, but you don't. You want to say, okay, I like it. I like it because I don't like talking from back.
You've probably never been back though.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
We could get 5 minutes.
Hello.
Been moved by Sean, we take a 5-minute break. Is there a second to the motion? Seconded by Ron. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Pat, opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next thing on the agenda is Griggs County JDA. And Beth, thank you for coming in and visiting with us.
You're welcome.
John, I think you asked to have this on the agenda.
Yep, first of all, I'd like to make a motion to rescind the motion to put the dissolution of the JDA on the November ballot. As we researched that, the county commission does not have the ability to place that on the ballot, only by a 10% referendum or 10% petition.
Petition is the only way.
Or the county commission on its own can do away with the JDA. But there's not the option for the county commission to put it on the ballot. So we have to wipe the slate clean and start over whichever way we want to go.
And I'll second that, so we can discuss it.
Yeah, okay.
It's been moved and seconded that the motion to place the dissolution of the Griggs County JDA on the ballot in November be reversed or rescinded.
Rescinded, yeah. And we knew shortly after the motion was made that it could be done. I just thought that it would be wait this meeting and then do away with it. So once that's happened, then we're back to the same place we were before. What do we want to do with the JDA?
I think the reason this came up right now is because we're kind of going through the budgeting process, so.
Are there any problems with rescinding it, Jamie?
Well, there's the AG opinion in 2015 L05 that states that the commission can do it, or
No, rescinding the
No,
motion.
Rescinding the ballot.
not rescinding the motion. No, I spoke with the Secretary of State's office, and if it's not legal for them to do it, we can rescind it, and it can be taken off the ballot.
But of course, they failed in their duty. The reason we sent it to the Secretary of State is so they solidify that it can be on the ballot, and then they just took our word for it.
Yeah.
So, kind of a useless exercise sending them.
Well, yeah,
They
they
should be checked out, and they just assume that we sent them and they're okay. So much for a safety net. So,
Okay, is there?
and Jamie, you talked to somebody at the state's attorney, the Secretary of State.
I don't remember who it was that I
Yeah.
talked to, but they stated if there was a change of mind, it would not be probably changeable, but since it's not legal for us to do it, it's.
Did they research it?
There was a change of mind based on.
No, they never researched it.
Yeah.
John found this opinion actually, and I called him today, and it's, I guess if they stated it, it's kind of my call, and if it's something that we can't, I mean, if it's something that's not legal to do, I don't see any reason to have it on the ballot.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. John?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Troy votes aye. Motion carries. Okay. No, we haven't put any mill levies in the budget for, well, since before we were here, right?
Yeah, correct. 2014 was the last year we received the mill levy.
When was it, 12?
2014, we received 1 mill. 2012, we received 4, and 2013, we received 4 mills.
So the budget discussion was the fact we're not funding it, should that money stay there or should the money revert back to the general fund? And then the next question was, if it was to be done away with completely, would that preclude it coming back at a future time? I don't think so. I think if it was done away with now, it could come back at any time if there was a need for it.
Yeah, I don't think that there's anything that states that.
No, I can't see anything. The only caveat with the money coming back to the general fund is that if there's any money that is allocated to a specific project, it can't. Otherwise, the money can come back to the general fund. So that's the question of where, you know, are there monies that are, it doesn't appear to be anything that has been spoken for that needs to be paid out, or that was going to be paid out, has been paid out.
Well, there's 3 outstanding grant projects that we just approved last month that have not been completed or paid.
Okay, so they would be, that money then wouldn't be subject to being moved out as well.
Okay.
Their obligation would have to stay there.
So I guess the total funds that are not committed left in JDA are $35,120.
Yep.
I would respectfully request that you allow the JDA to continue operating using the funds it has available versus closing us down and giving money back.
Well, it's not giving money back, it's just offsetting the go to the general fund. It's offsetting what the taxpayers have to contribute to this year's budget. So it'll just be, in essence, it's a lesser tax bill to the individual taxpayers of Griggs County. Personally, I think that's money well spent, but there's different opinions on that. At least this way, it provides a service to every taxpayer in Griggs County, where the JDA in itself it isn't broad spectrum. It picks and chooses who they're going to give the money to, and that, I don't think that's a good use of taxpayer dollars myself, but that's my opinion. We're picking and choosing, and what are the, how does the individual taxpayer benefit from some of this? I just don't see that. I know job creation and all that, but it hasn't played out in the last 30 years here with all the money that's been spent trying to create jobs and trying to build Cooper down in the county. It hasn't paid off. This seems to be another case of that, but in my opinion.
You can, help the general fund, and each taxpayer gets a few dollars out of the whole deal, or maybe you can, with business development, you can, if it benefits the whole county and the communities and the businesses, we can argue that all day.
Yep.
But I think the JDA has done a pretty good job. They've been good stewards of the funds. Of the $124,000 we received, we've spent a total of $89,000, and 96% of that has been spent on projects, actual projects. So very little administrative expenses.
You get nothing for your trouble?
No,
That's what I
but
thought.
we're all volunteers on the board. And we've leveraged our money about 2.5 times in matching funds.
Okay, well, is there anything else for Beth, or, thanks for bringing us this information. That's kind of what we needed to know.
Okay.
Um,
I'll state our mission is to provide financing incentives which will help create and maintain jobs, to create new wealth in the county, to assist in promoting tourism, to increase capital investment, and to create a climate that is conducive to improving and enhancing the quality of life for our residents. You can have my coffee.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. I hope you consider our request. And good luck. We understand your needs too, so.
Thank you.
You guys take.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Thank you, Beth.
Thank you.
Okay. Want to move on to the budget. Hi there.
Saw you earlier today. You just making the rounds. Good afternoon.
You guys are staying on the agenda pretty well.
This can go in garbage now or what? Samantha, do you want to lead the budget discussion?
Absolutely.
Guilty.
Okay, so as I had asked the last meeting, if the department heads could come up and talk with you, the ones that are showing up are the ones that wanted to discuss discuss your budget with you, so,
Huh?
See you talking. I'm not in the way.
do you want to just go one by one, or do you want to go around the room, or how would you guys like to do this?
New boss.
Well, then we'll just go we'll just go through the budget.
Yep.
If that's okay. We'll go to E8, which is district court. Did you have any questions on that one?
No, I just didn't know if anybody had any questions. Otherwise, I don't have anything further.
Okay. Does the commission have any questions for Kelly on that one?
You've seen these? Everybody's seen these?
I don't know. Maybe get emails?
No?
The only change on yours was the salaries.
Okay.
Yeah, we did the 0.2% across the board.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. So then the auditors, I don't have any questions. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Well, it's a question for all the budgets with the travel line. I think we would have to do more to define what travel is and what's expected of it, because we have so many different amounts in for travel here. That, for instance, the auditor has $2,000 for travel, the treasurer has $600.
And I think the reason that mine got bumped up so much was last year when I was new, we kind of put more in there so that Lori and I could kind of go through more training than the others, but, so I just kept it at that just in case, but
Did you spend it last year?
1755.
not all of, that was in 2015, but
Right.
last year,
Well, we don't have a year-to-date number in here.
are you looking for my year-to-date this year?
Yeah.
Auditors travel, I have spent $327.70 this year.
How much?
$327.
$327.
So 2,000 is really way too much, right? I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know how we determine it, but it's,
Well, I mean, there's always, whatever number's in there, even if it's a lesser number that won't cover it, there still is room in the general fund in case of an emergency where, I mean, we could cover the travel. I mean,
Right.
You know, maybe the travel for all the departments should just be one line item in the general fund, and when somebody has to travel, they come before the commission and ask for, here's the money I need to, and it's granted, paid out of that, I don't know. The travel funds aren't going to all be the same for each department. So
sure, for extension, that's part of their job is to be in the field, so that would be a lot of going up to ask.
I don't think that's a travel, I don't think that's.
There's probably not an expense associated with that if she drives out to the farmer's house. I don't think she puts in a voucher for that. They're talking more like if you go to training in Bismarck or something, you know, the auditor goes to the North Dakota Association of Counties annual convention and they have training involved there or something like, it's more of that type of traveling outside the county.
Social services has a lot of meetings that we go to because as social worker, I have mandatory meetings for 4 or 5 different programs that I have to go to because I'm the only worker, plus I have monthly meetings with Bismarck for the directors, quarterly meetings, and then we have to maintain training for our continuing education so I can maintain my license. And then these guys, eligibility workers, have to also go out to Bismarck or Jamestown usually for training so that they can learn the new changes that have been made. So it ends up being
We're not
hard
really,
for us.
I don't think John is talking about limiting travel. I think
Okay.
he's kind of trying to get his arms around it if it's out of the ordinary course of business travel, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't,
well, from a budgetary standpoint, we keep, with a lot of different departments, we keep having a line item and then it doesn't correspond to what we actually spend. So then we're constantly carrying money over these budgets and it's really getting to be kind of a problem in some of them.
Could we do maybe a more minimal line item rather than all the, it sounds like 2 different things. You were thinking more for extra beyond normal, and if I'm wrong, you were thinking about merging all the travel over, right, John? Or
Well, I'm looking at the county agent's travel budget and it's at $4,000. The last actual number we have for money spent was $2,500 So again, there's another one where it's far over budgeted from what we've actually spent. We're trying to be more precise in that. If we treat it more like an in and out account, it would work a lot easier. We had the money in the general fund and then spent as necessary. Then it would stay in the general fund. It would roll over in the general fund and become a general fund balance.
But with theirs, they can't do that because they're a special revenue fund, right? For like the county agent, you can't put that in the general fund because they're separate from the general fund, right?
Not necessarily.
Then you could do that.
Because a certain percentage of that is coming from taxpayer dollars.
Right.
So whether you allocate it to the special fund or allocate it to the general fund and then use the general fund to pay for the travel, it really doesn't make any difference.
okay. Does that make a lot more work for the agents to have to get it approved every time, or I'm just curious? Because how often are on the road, a couple times a week? I just want to make sure that she's not having to do 10 times extra just to get a minimal functioning budget.
So is it every time you go up to a farm, that's considered a travel expense?
I keep track of my mileage when I make farm visits, and then also when I go to in-services.
Okay.
And I know I haven't reached 4,000, but I still have trainings to go to until the end of the year. Last year I didn't spend over budget, but I didn't start until May.
So maybe just an idea, just track it one more year to see how much traditionally is spent before we make a big change and have it be more work. And I don't know, it sounds like you also travel.
Yeah, there's some days, like next week I'm on the road every day but one, so.
I understand, I'm sorry, go ahead. I understand your point about having it not sit unused and having to move the funds back and forth. I just don't want to I want to make sure we still have easy access for the agents to get the money they need for travel.
I think we're kind of confusing the terms. So the travel to the auditor and the treasurer and the recorder means going out to classes or going out to Bismarck. You're confusing, I think, travel with mileage possibly.
Okay.
The everyday functioning of the road department when he's driving his pickup around isn't possible to travel. That's the operation of the road department. I think that social services and the county agent probably fall into that, and the sheriff's department also. his mileage isn't considered travel, it's considered everyday operations. So I think it's probably just on how we classify it.
Okay. Thank you.
So in this case, it would be possible we would want to sell some, can we find that number?
You want me to do that, or do you?
Good budget, man.
All right. The next one is treasurer, and Connie was unable to be here today. So, state's attorneys. Jamie, do you have anything for the commission, or does the commission?
So I think everything was the same.
Just on the record, and on Connie's, the only thing that was changed was we applied the 0.2% pay increase, as we do with every budget. So that's the only change.
I think that was the same with the state's attorney as well.
That's correct.
Everything else has changed.
Okay, recorders. The only thing that was changed from what you requested was just the salaries. Anything for the commission, Kelly, or
No.
commission for Kelly? No? Okay.
The one thing, your travel then went to, it was coming out of,
The DPF.
There we go.
Yeah, because that fund can be used for training purposes. Yep. And it can be used for purchasing equipment, software, documentation, retrieval, training employees, maintaining the system. So a lot of other recorders say instead of taking that out of the general, take it out of that special fund because we have to use that for convention. So I took it out of there instead.
just don't want the lobbies again, it caused a lot of heartburn.
Well, in 2014, they came with a strong bill against the recorder's office to reduce all the fees, which would have hurt the counties greatly. So I lobbied from my desk then, so I can do the same if need be.
I can't shut up. The fact that they were going to reduce the fees is a benefit to the taxpayer. And you as a public official should be doing everything in your power to benefit the taxpayer, not the office of the recorder. The purpose of all these offices is to benefit the taxpayer. And when you lobby for something that's going to benefit the office, it ultimately hurts the taxpayer.
Well, I disagree. The recorder's office is a user fee. If the fees for those users goes down, the budget goes down, and you have to make up for it on the other end. So that's how we look at it. If your budget goes down, you have to increase on the other side to make up for it. So
No, that's not the way. That's not the way it's supposed to work. If the taxpayers deem that your budget gets cut in half, it doesn't get made up somewhere else. Your budget gets not cut in half, and the services get cut in half. That's the purpose of calling any government.
we're not losing services; just the cost is going down.
And you should be lobbying for the fees to go down. Thusly, don't label it lobbying anymore.
Well, what fees are you talking about?
The recorder fees, it's $10 for first page, $3 for each additional page. So they came and wanted one flat fee across the board, and so it would have financially impacted the counties. Is really the ones that would have lost the funds, the fees. So.
But that must have included the Secretary of State's recording fees too.
No.
That was a
No.
different deal.
Yep, totally separate deal. It was just the recording fees. So, it's, like I said, that's how we kind of viewed it. If your fees go down, it affects, like I said, your services don't go down. You still have to record the document. You still have to provide the services. So, it would have been a huge impact.
Well, it can't be huge.
Well, each county is different percentage.
Look at the monthly report.
Well,
there was
huge
56.
for-
There was 56 documents recorded last month. It can't get huge.
Well, each document's different. You can have one document that's
Well, I know that.
100 pages, and
I know that.
out west probably would have seen the bigger impact than here. So they have some documents that cost $22,000 to record. It's astronomical for them. So.
So we're going on recorder. Okay, tax director, this one is yours, so it's custodian. I let them know, so didn't look like they had any questions. Okay, so we'll just keep going here. Information technology.
The only thing I added in the new service fund line, what I would like to start doing is funding an account that we can utilize when we actually do need to purchase new servers, that we have it already funded. So we're not just taking a lease out or getting a loan for the equipment. So every year we put in so much money into it till it gets to a certain point, say 15,000, let it sit there. When we need it, it's there to use, then fund it back up again. That way too, if there's any issues where we actually have a catastrophic failure, we have the ability to pull that out of that fund for equipment for servers.
Is that how you would do it in governance off? You would set up another account, you put 5,000 into it, the next year you put another 5,000 in it? I mean, is it the program set up to do that?
It would have to be a special revenue fund. It'd have to be outside of the general fund.
Because the last servers we bought on lease, and we're putting that 10,000 whatever every year, paying off the lease for that. So I'd rather have it where we just keep putting in money every year. We know it's there. So when we actually plan out, well, if we're going to do server replacement this year, we have that fund already there to pull it off of them. So, and that would include like the backup system. You know, the backup servers are at a different rotation than the main servers. So that we try to stagger them out, so we're not just.
You don't move the main server to the backup server?
What's that now?
You don't use the old main server for the backup?
We usually do. A lot of times that's what we've been doing is we're moving down. It all depends on the age of this equipment. Can we upgrade it? Is it sufficient enough? So we make that decision at that time. If it's just going to be pushed out or if it's actually going to be used for another resource.
But having an unplanned replacement is mighty rare, isn't it?
For servers, yes. Like the next replacement here for the main servers is going to be in 4 years. That's when we're looking at actually swapping those out. Servers, you don't want to go into the idea that we just run until they break, because you're talking a 2 to 3 week downtime on that, right, where nobody's working. So now you can't provide any services at all.
Well, that's why you have backup, isn't it?
Well, that's if catastrophic failure, yeah. But we don't want to be relying on backups to say that we're going to wait till the server breaks and then we'll replace it.
No, I'm not getting at that. But my point is, we've never had a server replacement that wasn't planned, so we should be able to budget for it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. That's that building up that funding for it, so it's ready. But like the last server run, we leased everything, so we were always paying off, and now we're having a fund where we know, well, we're going to be doing this. And it's also there for the fact maybe we do have catastrophic failure where we need to be buying it 2 years in advance. We have the funds available for doing it then. So.
What's the estimated cost of a server?
Usually around, it depends on the software too. Like we usually buy our software at the same time. What's changing with that is the last round we did, we bought Office 2013. That's your Word and Excel. We're going to be looking at going to Office 365 for that, and we'll be talking that on the 2018 budget. Office 2013 is going to be end of life, mainstream end of life here coming 2017. So we'll be looking at what that cost is, and that's a monthly cost or annual cost for that. So you use software as a service. So that's going to be taken off the servers now. The last server was about I think 10,000 for that.
For the box?
For the box and license off, so the actual licensing of Microsoft Office.
Right, so I mean, I don't know why we wouldn't just budget for that in the year we want to spend it. Why would we have a line item to build up to a $15,000 line item?
If it does break though, out of budget line, meaning if we're planning on doing it next year, but it breaks this year,
right,
we need to pay for it now. I guess that was my thought on it. It's just a suggestion, maybe something to think about.
Yeah, but I mean, in the event that happened, we do have emergency.
Oh, I mean that's the right idea. Yes,
that would be an emergency.
Definitely.
It's really I can really go both ways.
Whether natural
I don't think that would be
disasters,
an
emergency fund is really all it's supposed to be used for. It's been used for a lot of things besides that, but it's supposed to be used for weather related.
Yeah, I don't think it would be used for an unbudgeted server.
But there is a fund in the general fund for miscellaneous.
We have a reserve.
We do have a reserve.
I guess my thought was reason we just build up slowly, and we can, this will keep, we'll change this and adapt it. And then like you say, well, okay, we're gonna be replacing in 4 years. And
But
we need
my
10,000,
resistance to doing that is I don't wanna have a reserve in every budget. The county as a whole is better off having one reserve. And this year Megan needs it, next year you might need it, but we don't have that
Budget
spread
reserve
through the
on
whole
there.
budget.
Okay.
Cause then it becomes rather.
I mean, just so that we're planning and aware of that,
Right.
so that when I'm going forward is like we're discussing, we have the money available when it's needed, I guess.
Right. And like the workstations, my thought on workstations, the way we do it anyway, I mean, we replace them when they die, and you don't know when they're gonna die.
No, I mean,
although the CPUs are cheap, so it really, it probably costs more money to have you set them up than it does to buy
labor is
them.
always the biggest expense.
Right.
And with like the desktops too, we kind of go with, we can see some things happening, like the hard drive starts failing. We might see some errors coming across the reports,
Maybe.
that's, and then it's going to be, say it's a 4-year, 5-year-old desktop. It's not worth replacing a hard drive on that. So let's actually get it replaced physically. And it's still operating. Let's get one ordered right now and go from there and stuff like that. So we try to catch those. We do monitor for all that stuff.
Right.
The system does it, but sometimes they just don't turn on in the morning. Well, go order a new one then. So.
Anybody else have any more questions for IT?
You good?
Yeah, I guess we're keeping that 5,000 out. I guess I don't know if we want to just put it in the general where it starts.
I think we already have it built into the general fund
So
budget.
we can
don't
take that off then.
I think so.
Well, let's just leave it there for now until we
Okay.
adjust, till we go through and see what the total numbers look like this.
Okay.
All right. We'll go to the sheriff's budget.
Okay. I went through the draft. I got, the only two items I guess I would like to talk about is that patrol vehicle, and then, if I had put in a line item for $4,300 for, office clerical assistance, I would ask to reconsider both of those. The, patrol car, we talked about that earlier this year, and I was instructed to bring it back to the budget hearings. I've done that. You guys instructed us 2 years ago to bring budgets here that are actual, what's needed, and no fluff. That's what I gave you, I guess, based on those instructions 2 years ago. The patrol car, I've got that pallet at Mark's driving. The car is very much near the end of its use. It needs new air conditioning system. It's got cooling issues. If you replace an air conditioning system in a car, they're quite spendy. And we bought that car used as a fill-in. That's a 2006. The Dodge pickup, the silver one, is a 2006. I would propose we sell that. That was a vehicle I inherited in my office from Paul. I don't think our Griggs pickups on the gravel those years are not very good on gravel. They bounce around terribly. My 2012 is a completely different vehicle and doesn't do that. And I propose we sell those two cars, put that money towards the purchase of this other car. We chose this Dodge Charger for one simple reason. It was the cheapest. I guess 2 or 3 simple reasons. And I talked to Don Bigsoff about that process, and he'd be happy to service it and maintain it. It's a tool of the job. It's not a reward for anybody. It's no personal favor or vendetta or nothing like that. It's just a tool of the job. We haven't had, the last time we bought a car was in 2013, and that's what I'm driving. I'll continue to drive that. It's very functional. So I'd ask about that, and then I guess I'm asking if I need to reinstate that 1 hour a day for a clerical person, just to handle that top tier things that need to be done. One of them is 24/7. That program. So that's my 2 appeals on that, I guess.
That gray pickup's got a brand new engine in it.
Yes, it does.
How many miles are on the chassis?
I have to go look.
I don't have it in my fingertips. Around 100,000. VW's estimated we should still get between $11,000 and $12,000 for it.
Can't imagine having a patrol vehicle in North Griggs County, North Dakota, not be a four-wheel drive.
The Charger's all-wheel drive. They're used across the state.
So Bob, is it 32,500, that's the total price of the car without any selling anything or any trade-in? Or is that what's gonna cost after you sell the other vehicles?
Okay, that's the total project cost. That's not taking in any resale from other equipment. That's the total project cost. And that's gonna be between 30 and 32. I can get that narrowed down.
No, I just wondered if that was, and you intended to sell the pickup and what else?
The pickup in that Impala, we done 3
That's
vehicles.
not worth nothing anyways, like that.
Yeah, they figure we're $25,000 to $3,000.
So that number is probably more like $20,000, the 32.5.
You'd be in the ballpark somewhere between 18 and 20.
What's the cost of the car?
Last year, the cost of the car was $24,350. I contacted the dealership that does the North Coast State bids, and they, at the time we do our budgets, they don't have those numbers all yet. So he told me to add $1,000 to it. That would be ballpark. It'll be that or less the increase for the year. So we're looking at about $25,000 for the car.
And then the rest of the cost is to get the car set up?
Yes, and we'll reuse it. We'll reuse as much equipment as we can in it. One thing we can't reuse, we don't have a cage that'll work in that car. So I'll try, and I might be able to find a cage with surplus. They've had those cars for a number of years. They may have one out there, and I use that like we have in the past.
Can't throw
I
it
just
in the
don't.
trunk?
What's that? Are you asking my opinion?
Might forget one.
No, I don't want to be in the trunk, I might have to ride it.
The only reason we settled on the Dodge Charger is that's the only police package vehicle that Chrysler does. They do that in Durango, and the Durango comes in like 30-some thousand basic unit on that.
Keep going. Any other questions, concerns?
No, okay, next one's a
Oh, I got a ponder.
Next one is the DES.
Okay. I guess that budget is as is. I spoke with a couple of commissioners over the last year, so if you guys have a different plan for DES, I'm happy to entertain that. If you want to use it to combine a position, find someone that's interested in doing that work, I won't fight that, and we'll keep going. If you don't, I don't know what your plans are with DES. You know, I hear things, but I'm asking you guys to tell me what you want to do with DES.
Well, I mean, it was brought up at a prior meeting that if we combine the DES, the Veteran Service Officer, and the tax director into one position, you could, but how do you, when we can't even find for a person to fill one of those positions, how do you find someone qualified for all three of them? I mean, theoretically, possibly, but in practice, probably not.
You know, come the first year or between now and then, if we want to research, I mean, there may be someone in the community that's sitting there looking for something to do a few days a week, might be happy to take that job, and has an interest in those things. You know, because that's a pretty varied interest there from DES to tax director to, you know, you have to find a pretty unique person who would want that.
The only thing we came across, Bob, when we were preparing for this budget is we didn't, and then you and I talked about it, but just so everybody knows, we didn't show any revenue from the DES for the matching funds for 15 or 16.
Yeah, you'll have them very shortly.
Okay.
This will be between 11 and 13,000.
Yeah, it should be half of each year's budget.
Right, it'll be half of what I spent.
Yep. And then from here forward, if you're going to do this, you'll do it on a quarterly basis.
Yeah, the next one will be done at the end of December. But these DES EMPG grants, they run at a 2-year cycle.
Right, but you can still access the funds every quarter.
Yep.
So like I said, if somebody comes in and wants the job, and let's talk about it.
Well, can, would a DES, combination DES secretary, is that a possibility?
Sure it is. That's done a lot of places.
So the DES, the secretary would fill the position of the DES officer and be a secretary for you?
Very well could be. There's a lot of agencies. I'll tell you now how when I got into this was supposed to be a temporary situation. That Skip Council that was here, he quit or got fired, whatever, and the commissioners couldn't find him. They come to me and asked me, I said, yes, I'll do it for a number of years, and it just never changed. And I'm sure there's somebody out there that would be happy to do the job, because it's actually a very interesting job. And it seemed like maybe a waste of time for the taxpayers, but the preparation part of it for a future disaster, having the things in place is immeasurable. And you can speak to county grounds that have gone through these disasters, and the ones that had high preparation, it made quite a difference for that. And we have our facility here to accommodate that going on in combination with sheriff's office communications and that. So I think the right person there would be a benefit to the county.
So do you think there's a person out there that could be the combination DES and a secretary for you?
More than likely, if you'll find one.
I mean, that would be a zero net increase to the overall budget, and it would be more allocation of funds, but I mean, the problem is it's going to cost you money to do that. I mean, you know.
Me personally,
right?
I don't care. I mean, if we get the right person in that position that wants to take the job and go with it, that'll be a benefit to citizens of Rich County.
From my personal perspective, I'm inclined to go that. If you could find something to do that would certainly solve some problems.
And just a note here: if you take right now, this is considered a quarter-time position within the county. If you want to increase that to some level, that 50% reimbursement follows along with that dollar amount. So,
right. Yeah, I know.
So I just want to make sure you guys know all of that. Everybody knows.
Okay.
So do you want me to look into that? You guys do it?
I hadn't thought about it before.
I know one individual has approached me about it in the community before.
That they were interested
yes.
in the job.
Yeah. And it would be.
And it would be a secretary for you also.
I think so, and it'd be a good fit.
They kind of have two bosses, but that doesn't mean that wouldn't work. Because we're not really there every day, so.
No.
I'll tell you now, DES is a very good fit with the sheriff's office. Because when, excuse my friends, when shit's hitting the fan, both parties are getting involved.
It'd be a lot easier than trying to make a VSO and tax director.
There's probably someone who can do that, but I don't know what the path.
Well, we're not going to do anything with the VSO until Dennis tells us we have to.
Right.
And he's not going to do it until he's got somebody he thinks is qualified to take his place.
Right.
And he's never going to find anyone qualified. So
doing it for everyone.
I don't think he's going to find anybody that cares about it as much as he does.
I will touch base with the individual that talked to me, and if he wants me to bring it forward,
Take a look at it.
He's got the military infrastructure experience that would bode well. So you know what? That may not be a far stretch. This person could handle the job when Dennis is ready. I think yes, you keep Dennis until he wants to crawl away.
Absolutely.
He's the best I've ever worked with.
Okay.
Okay, anything else? Okay.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Rob.
We will just keep on trucking here.
Yeah.
We will go to Wayne. We have our.
Which one? Road, weed, wireless?
Right now, we're in special revenue fund, so we're in the road department.
Any questions? I wanted to ask some questions about equipment.
Okay, well, just for, I did a cash flow on the road department, so I took out the carryover, and I took out the Senate bill and the House bill money. And then I put in the any other revenue that we're gonna get plus the 30 mils. And doing that, it ended up about $100,000 short. It was $100,000 short of cash flowing.
And we're maxed out at the 30 mils.
And we're maxed at 30 mils. Now there's about $1.2 million carry.
$1,400,000 or something,
Yeah.
yeah.
So at this rate, you can see we go 14 years with the reserve if we didn't spend all the money in the budget. And that last year we didn't. We had a $400,000 reserve. And I mean, it's pretty easy to see and that there's some buffers built in here. For number 20, 200,000 gravel, we're probably not going to spend that. So there's two ways to do this. We can either keep doing the way we're doing it and just count on having a reserve built into it that isn't named a reserve, or we can de-identify what is over and above what we're actually going to spend and identify that as a reserve. There's going to be, when the grader, the maintainers come due, there's a pretty big portion of the money that we have now as for future projects, that 1.4 million, is going to have to somehow be used over time to buy new graders. I mean, we're not going to get lease them at the same price we're leasing them for now. If we bought them out, it was going to cost about $600,000 to buy them out, assuming we bought them up to whatever it costs to get them up to spec also. So, I mean, before we didn't even know where
will
we're
take
at.
care of that.
What's that?
John Deere, when they take the motor graders back, that'll erase the six.
That'll erase any debt, but then we won't have any equity in the lease. So just a dollar figure, more likely the lease things.
It's hard to say.
Well, I mean, just some simple figuring for the old.
Because they're still gonna probably figure so that it isn't paid up at the end of the 5 years.
No, that's right. The whatever value, residual value subtracted from what the actual cost was and then finance. But I just some simple figure, and I think it'll be more like in that $225,000 range because of the increase and the no. We don't have any trade. We didn't have any. We used up our equity in trading for these. So as long as we understand that money's there and we're not going to spend it all and it's going to come back, roll over again the following year and the following year and the following year, we can keep doing it that way now that we got a grip on it. It's just that it is an actual. We got to wait a year and a half to actually see where we're at because we don't see where we're at until we see what the last audited budget was.
It's so hard to budget.
No, I'm not finding fault. I'm not just.
All the line items.
No, not finding fault. It's just, it's been done that way for years because of inadequate mill levy. So you have to try to hoard money here and there for a rainy day. It took a while to get it figured out where we were actually at. So,
in any work that we do ourselves and get reimbursed from the house bill, it will benefit that issue.
Basically, whatever profit is in it for the outside contractor is actually profit for us if we do the work. We still have the expense of the fuel, but we're already paying the expense for the people.
I don't know if we can make a profit on it though.
Well,
if they go by the actual cost of what we pay for the gravel and what it costs, for the manpower and the equipment.
Well, but just if they pay the manpower, we'll make it. We would be reimbursed.
It offsets the cost of the budget.
Anyway.
And the only thing is that we're not doing something else that we probably should do if we're constantly.
And we can certainly charge for the cost of our equipment. I mean, you could justify a lot of costs doing the work there that we could be reimbursed for. And just the labor itself, we're paying for the labor anyway.
Right.
So
that doesn't cost you.
Yeah.
No, I think the smaller projects we could do, but I don't think we can do 22 miles.
No, I don't think you can either.
No, and get it done in a quick time.
But if we're doing that, we need to quantify our expenses so that we can turn those in and be reimbursed for it. And I'm talking equipment expense, depreciation expense, fuel, labor, everything needs to be quantified.
I would imagine there's any depreciation left on anything we have to
Exactly
use.
what that's gonna be.
Yep. So the question then is, do we actually need, when we have a $1.4 million reserve, do we actually need to levy 30 mills? You know, and it looks like we're probably gonna carry another $300,000 out of this budget into 2018. I mean, if it's typical of what happened the last few years.
The only thing is if we're short of a year, like you say, then if we don't levy the 30 mills, then we're gonna come up short quicker.
No, well, the point is you budget short, but you don't spend that much money on the gravel and stuff, so we actually come through with a surplus.
So you go, your budget is short, in actuality, you're coming along, I mean, because you didn't spend the entire budget, so it looks real bad on paper until you actually go back 3-4 years and bring it forward, and then it isn't as bad as it looks on a year-to-year basis. I mean, 16 doesn't look so good, but I'll guarantee you, when we close out 16, it will look a little bit better. So,
yep,
that's.
Any other questions for Wayne or Wayne for the mission on that one?
Just a quick one on this, on the highway tax. That depends on the price of gasoline, doesn't it? Or?
No, the tax
Oh,
stays
it
the
doesn't?
same.
Okay.
Tax stays the same.
Tax is 28 cents or whatever it is.
Okay. Never mind.
It's a per
If
gallon.
it's cheaper, there might be more gas.
Okay.
Might get more
Might drive
revenue.
more, so
When's the lease, how long is it?
the lease, we started paying in 2014. So the lease,
There's the last page right
right there, 9/23/2018. Last payment.
there. And they got a residual of $675, $421.67.
That's if they're within the hours and tires are.
Yeah, but there's a charge for the all was over, and then they have to have mid-life tires and glasses.
Usually our hours are okay.
Right.
We're gonna have to start replacing some tires probably already. We have recapped the front ones, these what they wear most, so we've taken and we replace a couple and then we send them in, get them recapped, and then put them on the next machine that's getting, the tires are getting more. Otherwise, and we've had problems. That 72,000 per year, that also covers the full warranty that we have, extended warranty. We just had a guy up here Tuesday, and Jake's machine shifted from fourth to first gear just like that. And so called them up. They come up the next day. They couldn't find anything wrong. It was a short to ground somewhere. That's most of the trouble we have is with the wiring, either rub through someplace or a sensor. Or a computer came up, couldn't find the problem, but. And that's all included in that price. We've had them up quite a few times since 2013. Pretty good bargain that price was, maybe too good.
Well,
We should have been paying more probably. At that time when we bid those, then we had two cats bid and they were like 55,000.
and what was it? The bio was 600. Right, compared, and the purchase price was 9.1 million.
Yeah, they varied.
Spending overall in the contract.
$1,040,000.
$1,040,000, so basically you're covering rest of, yeah, so $400,000 probably, $500,000 we'll have to finance, I would imagine.
You can extend these up to 7 years and still get the full warranty, or the extended warranty. So if you want them to continue on.
So let's
So
just
2 more
say it's
years, that'll be 2020. then.
Yeah, $400,000. Yeah.
Of course, your value is less than what. It was a good interest rate, 2%, I think.
Yeah.
8. 2.8.
How many hours can you put on one of these things? Oh, 15, 20,000 it looks like. Huh?
I think we're limited like 6,000 hours, I think, we're supposed to have, and then you start getting, when we turn these in, then you start getting penalized probably over the 6,000 hours.
Right, so you can put 1,200 hours a year on them,
Yeah.
but you don't get that done.
Normally they don't. I think one of them's got 4,000 and so on now. Depends upon the winter. Want to go with weed, or is that jumping out of order?
911 coordinator.
Mhm.
911 is what I have next. C13.
Yeah, right there.
And I think the only thing that changed from what was requested was just the salary part. And then the benefits went along
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah, that's one, we talked quite a bit, you know, about possibly combining the DES officer and 911.
I don't want the DS.
Can we take 911, if somebody wants to be the DES 911 officer, can we do that?
I suppose you could take my whole job if you wanted to. Both positions, if you wish, are all free.
All right. We did have another question on the expense side of this. Why are we paying the North Dakota Association of County Officers?
Association of Counties, they coordinate the wireless connections, all the wireless phones that come in and are connected to the state radio for the 911 calls. And they are also contracted to do next generation 911 combination, which will include connections so you can go on your computer and call 911. You can text, voice over internet, or call, and they're working on that. Plus they do a lot of, with the legislature testifying.
So is it a mandated fee the counties have to pay, or?
So we're paying them for doing something?
Yeah. It used to be more. They went down from 20% to 15%, I think, of each phone line on the wireless phones.
Oh, are we getting this from the phone company and turning it over to them or something?
No,
Where's the revenue?
we're paying them to administer the part of the 911 system, if I understand correctly. And then the phone companies, both the phone company, both the local and the wireless, give us 25 cents a call back. That's how we get the income in this thing. So we're paying the telephone company here, that is for actual hard lines, right?
Yep, the telephone company is
Right.
MLGC and
Yeah.
Intercommunity.
Yeah.
Intercommunity gets 150 a month, MOGC gets 395.
Okay.
And
And this is the state radio.
state radio, that's for home, for doing 911 calls.
Okay.
Do we want to talk flood?
Wasn't there one, there was one in the bills, wasn't there?
Did it come through? Okay, that's the last.
Larry Wrestler,
Yep.
the township up there? Yep.
That's the last site on 2011.
Okay.
And so I put that into the DES, I haven't got back from them. But, and Bob is working on his hourly wages. The 2009 flood, that's closed out.
So we're gonna move that balance.
That balance is gonna move to the road fund.
Yeah. Everyone's oh, I see already moving.
I don't have that power, I can't move it.
Good try though.
But anyway, they suggest that goes to the road department because they have a lot to do with the disaster.
Yeah.
We'll keep that in mind. Keep it. In 2011, then
Next year we should be
we'll be getting a letter within 20 days. We'll say we have 60 days. We'll clear it up and just hand it with Bob, which is in before we put that letter. We'll be ready to go. There'll be some money left over.
So we plan on just leaving this one intact for this year.
For this year, we have to leave the 2011 intact. Yep.
And 2009,
2016.
it'll still stay here, but it'll be completely inactive.
Yep.
It'll be, okay.
Just waiting upon your order to do whatever the treasurer or whatever should do to that.
Well, you don't even know, we'll just,
Yeah.
all of a sudden we'll have a balance.
Okay,
Can we jump ahead to weed control real quick?
Yeah.
I think that's the last one of Lane's. C29.
we control, I left the salary the same, I think is what it was. Mr. Walden. The travel, I didn't use any, I should have gone to, they have a weed conference, I think. We can talk about the different things, and I didn't go, I didn't know what it was, and I probably should have gone to that, maybe next year as well. Usually every year in Bismarck, we have a conference there. Publishing, that'd be the weed, your weed sprayed, I suppose. Do is fuel. We haven't used that. We always pull up to our county gas tank and fill up the sprayer and whatever. We could, I guess, use the $1,500 there to put in the tank one time. Chemicals, I don't know if we'll use the full 14,000. We did use some more of the stuff today.
Right.
We might have to get some more of that. Seems like that's a pretty good savings if we can keep the snow away from the roads, where it's by slough. Get those cattails laid down because we can't reach out far enough. We're thinking about making an extension boom that we can stick out and it'll spray down versus having the.
You think they'll lay down?
If not, we've got a big Bertha deal where we can
Burn them up.
use.
I don't think they'll lay down, but they,
So, some of them will.
but if you get them dry, they burn.
And otherwise, I left equipment dropped down from $6,500 to $1,000 because we pretty much have everything. Well, unless something goes out or whatever.
Okay. Questions?
Well, on the revenue side, we had that lap and tag, there's a question mark. Did you
I don't
find
know
out
what
that
that
revenue?
tag is.
It's the landowner's assistance program and then targeted assistance program.
We just didn't have a number to plug in for the revenue.
It varies so much,
Well,
I thought
It's
we
based upon if the farmers submit their.
reimbursement.
Great question.
It's basically in another account.
oh, okay, is that what we decided?
Yeah, it doesn't affect us, the bottom line.
Yeah, just scratch it.
I think we had a letter that said how much we could get, but
Yeah,
it depends on the
kind of.
reimbursement request.
But,
Yeah, there's a cap to the limit.
Okay, because we have a tag expense, but
yeah, we can probably, I mean, we can probably do away with both those because it is an in and out.
Yeah.
We don't, I think we can only be reimbursed for what was spent, correct?
yeah, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that, yeah, that is the true in and out.
We're still participating in the landowner share.
They turn in their invoices and we pay them, and then Sam sends them for reimbursement, correct?
So I don't know if that should be budgeted or can't.
Well, I don't think I'm doing that anymore. I think Tim Walry's actually been doing it.
And has he been turning them in for reimbursement? Have you seen revenue coming from?
Yeah, I think we got the revenue.
Yeah, I helped him fill out the forms for the state, so.
Okay.
Okay.
It's hard to do it.
Yeah, so, the $1,700 you requested probably is probably not.
We can scratch it probably.
Scratch
Yeah,
that.
okay.
Okay. We're working on spraying. We're trying to get other stuff done, but hopefully we can still get some stuff sprayed before the end of the year. We're pretty.
All right, that should be all for Wayne's stuff.
Okay.
Okay, we'll go back to C16, and it'll be County Welfare Board.
Thanks, Wayne.
Thanks, Wayne.
Have a good weekend.
Could I interrupt and introduce him? Well, Jim Gray has moved to the Southwest District, and my new district director for the Northeast is Kim Wilson. So I just wanted to introduce you guys for today.
Oh,
Nice to
Hi.
meet you.
You
I already
too.
questioned something, so I'm sorry to know you, okay? Glad to be here. Thanks for your support for the extension program. I live in Grand Forks, so not too far away.
All right.
Okay. Wanted to talk to you a little bit about the salary line for social services. At the last social service board meeting, I did talk to everyone there about the possibility of hiring a part-time social worker. And so the budget shows that would be the amount that I would need to have a part-time social worker. And the part-time social worker would not need health insurance. It would be just retirement. And the reason why I'm needing it is because right now we have caseload calculators that we use to determine, what percentage we are doing of each job. And I, in the last month, have been anywhere to from 90 to 100% just social work duties. So I'm not able to attend to the director duties because I'm spending most of my time on social work duties. Our agency does currently have a vacant social work position because before I came on as director, there used to be a half-time director and a full-time social worker. And then when I took on the directorship, I agreed to just assume both responsibilities. Well, now the caseloads are getting a lot higher and it's less manageable for me to be able to do that. There's a lot of meetings. If I had a help from a social worker, the mandatory meetings that I have to go to for social work, I would need to go to. The social worker could go to that. I can concentrate more on my duties as director of the agency. I'm not able to go to many of the monthly meetings. I probably need 2 all year because I am busy doing social work, child protection, foster care. Only a licensed social worker or what they call a family service specialist can do child protective services, foster care case management, in-home case management, court affidavits, court hearings, supervise the parent aid, do the licensing for foster care, and do the home and community-based service program. So I'm the only one that can do all of that. Since Dawn is just the parent aid, she cannot assist me with any of these duties. She can help with doing some visits, but she can't do them all, and I have to do all the documentation for court, for the child protection assessments. When I've gone on vacation, even over a weekend, I have to find another county right now to help me out if a report should come in or if there's some kind of emergency. And I've asked 2 different counties if they'd be willing to help out, and both of them said they don't have the staff power to be able to help out with any of that for Griggs County. In looking at, once we move in the new courthouse, that'll save $13,000 about, and we now have the remodel loan paid off, and that was over $9,000, and the van's paid off, so that's over $5,700 right there. So that'd make a total of about $27,800 if you total all those threes together. And for the position I'm requesting, it would be $25,560. If we have a new social worker, I've talked to the board about that. We have a random moment time study is what we call it. It's where we jot down at a certain time what we're doing, and then we get reimbursements back from the state based on that. And if I have another social worker that is employed with Griggs County, that person could also be added on that, which would be increased revenues for social services. We could also, I've had counties call me and say, can you help out? We have a conflict report, and I'm not able to help them because I'm already jammed with my own work, but an extra social worker, if there's downtime, which I don't think there will be, but we have the option of then helping out other counties and making more money doing that. The new person could do the targeted case management, which would be researched, and that also brings in more dollars. Another big one is that December 1st, I have to move from exempt to non-exempt status because I'm only 45% director. That was according to the state guidelines. So I have to be paid overtime. And if I can't get all the work done to 40 hours by myself, that's going to cause overtime for me, whereas if I had help, that wouldn't be a problem. I'm not asking for a raise for myself this year at all. I think average was 3% that I did for the other workers, and that's because the amount that social services has to go by, we can't go over $409,000. That's our budget cap. And with the adding of the new position, I'm under that $409,000. $409,119. So then I'd be able to concentrate more on managing the office, doing the meetings that I need to go to, managing evaluations, job descriptions, ADA forms, hiring, firing, training, monitoring the budget, doing the budget, legislative changes, and then just century code, administrative code, being up to date and knowledgeable on that. I don't really have the time right now to do that like I would like to. The benefit I can see in having somebody from, not from another county, we don't go with another county, is that the person, if I'm allowed to hire somebody, would be at the very minimum for pay. A person in another county that's a social worker, we don't know what their pay is. We have to pay part of their salary, part of their benefits to have them come here to work for us, plus their travel, per diems, and they're not easily accessible. If I had a part-time worker here and something came up, then either her or I would handle it, and I wouldn't have to wait for somebody to come down here. I guess it's just a struggle, being the only social worker to try to handle all the duties and the directorship, and I would appreciate your consideration of me hiring. I'm just asking for part-time, not full-time. And again, just for retirement, there wouldn't be any health insurance.
Yeah, the only thing I disagree with is the overtime thing, and you go to a salary position, and I'll read this to you.
The reason I was told that by the state.
That's what I got, that's where I got this. I wish to inform you that a Director 1 position, along with the salary, meets the exempt status under the executive criteria of FLSA, even if the Director portion would give less than 50%.
Oh, that's news to me, because what they told me is,
Who's that from?
Came from the HR department and it was forwarded to me, but it came from the HR department in Bismarck.
really? They told me that if you're under 50% director, you can't be, they told me the opposite. And so I've just been planning that that's gonna happen.
And I talked to Nelson County, not gonna happen.
And I've asked Barnes County, I've asked Steele County, and none of them can offer any assistance.
So anyway, that part of it, I think is, the rest of it, I don't have an opinion on. But as far as having to go having to be a salaried employee, I don't think that's correct.
Well, I would definitely check with her again, because that was not what I had been told over the last few months. I know having another social worker, so I will continue to do social work duties, but not all of them. We can better serve the people who receive our services. We can better serve them, because I only have so much time and try to do as much as I can, but it's not what I'd like it to be for clients.
Right.
So yeah, that amount there is with the part-time social worker added in.
I have a question on the grade. Who sets the grade and what's the matrix for determining that?
It's set by the North Dakota Department of Human Services, and they work with the legislator. Right? It was based on what's called the Hayes study, which was a legislative bill that they had to study the salaries of different positions throughout North Dakota. It's called the Hayes study.
The Hayes method is just, I mean, that's not just the North Dakota deal.
No, I know that, but I mean, how do we determine that Dawn is grade F?
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's how.
Each of us are in a position that's classified by the state. Each position has a grade assigned to it. So, like grade D, we have Sharon in that level as our in-home care specialist, because that's the grade assigned to
it. Okay,
her
so there is a
position.
matrix that says if you're doing this job, here's it. Okay.
Great.
So
The state still hasn't sent me this Federal Register that defines that whole situation.
You mean the grade assignment? Is that what you're referring to?
No. The claim or the whatever it is that the county social services officers fall under that regulation is not.
Did you get the email from Amy?
Yeah, it's not in the century code. It's not there.
It
It just says certain federal aid in whatever.
It says that any agency that administers federal funds, our agency does that because it comes down to the federal government through the department, and the county does it on
I
their
don't think it
behalf.
says any agencies. Any agency. It says agencies that.
well, what's confusing about it is 54, Century Code 54, which keeps getting referenced in this.
44.
Exclusively is for state employees.
That's what I mean.
And that's the confusing part. Now, some of them does make, I mean, this whole argument is over salaries and the salary, the 3% raise. If you go and look at what the wages the 6 employees are receiving, two of them would need to have raises this year in order to fall with a minimum, maximum 4 wouldn't.
Great.
The only one I'm confused about, Jennifer with the 3% raise would bring her right to where she should be. Monica is either classified incorrectly or hasn't been receiving enough money.
This is her classification for January 1. We have a different salary range for 2016 that I didn't attach to that, so it's a little lower. So she needs, here I can tell you.
If she's at 1360, she needs to go to 1689.
That's what I was looking for.
Okay,
But
hang
the
on.
chick from the state never gave it to me.
Okay, right now she's at,
13,2060.
oh, I have 2357. And the Hayes study minimum for her position for 2017 would be 2427. So that's grade. Good spot here.
She is an underfill at this time, and she has to stay as an underfill until she's been here 1 year. So she's actually an eligibility worker technician underfilling an eligibility 1 position. And they do that for 1 year. Once she meets the 1 year, then she's no longer an underfill, and you have to pay her at the EW1 level at that time. So she actually has to go up to, I believe it's 29 something.
29, 27.
April of 2017.
So her wage is gonna more than double.
Well, it's gonna go up
She's
extraordinarily,
going to
yes.
have to have a substantial raise because of how this works.
Well, she's earning 1360 an hour right now.
Oh, you're doing, okay, I was doing salary.
No, 1360 an hour. I just computed it. I did put it all per hour. So anyway, under this study, this is 16 to 17. Monica and Jennifer would need a 3% raise to get to the $14. Monica would need whatever. I mean,
A lot.
but everybody else without any raise at all falls within these guidelines.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're correct. And I'm not asking for anything different for me, just because I would really
And
like to.
eventually, if we do it that way, eventually the minimum will catch up to everybody, and then everybody will get the raise according to whatever the state prescribes every year.
I know the idea is that people start at the minimum, and as they progress in years, they would like it to go up to the first quarter MPP and maximum numbers. That's the idea of it.
I asked her what
It's
CFR pertained to this, because
maddening to me that
there's nothing in the
the
century
Griggs
code
County taxpayers are mandated to pay a salary that is determined by somebody other than Griggs County taxpayers. I mean, the state's telling Griggs County what they have to pay for services, that doesn't sit well. There's services administered in Griggs County should be able to determine what they're going to pay for those services.
Yeah, and there's nothing I can do to change.
No, I know that, but I mean, the fact that there was a 3% rate increase in the salaries in the budget this year isn't backed up by what the state mandates.
By the minimums. Yeah,
Well, are we going to parse words here? I mean, it isn't.
No, I'm just trying to
It isn't backed up.
understand. I'm just trying to understand what you're saying. I'm not being smart.
The last meeting, you told us that you had to have a 3% raise. It was mandated by the state.
Well, that's what it
And
is.
I told you to bring me the information. Now you bring me the information, and now all of a sudden, that's not what you meant.
Well, that's what it said in our where's that form?
I know. The fact is that we're okay on the salaries as far as raises go, doing what we wanted to do. Other than you have this one employee that you're going to have to pay more because she is part-time and she's going to go full-time. Is that fair?
Mm-hmm. And is it fair to say what you are proposing as a commission, that the rest of us would stick with this COLA that you're stating that is going to be across the board?
Well, I don't know that. I mean,
I guess that's just my question, because I believe that's 0.02
Right.
that you're proposing all the way across the board.
well, that's in the instance where, in my point of view, where the commission has authority over the salary. We don't have authority over the salary, so maybe we should let the people that have the authority over the salary set the salary, and maybe the only thing the commission can do is say that we'll abide by the minimum. I don't know. That's just my opinion on it.
This is where I got the 3% increase thing.
The what?
This is where I got, they give us what our 2017 budget is, and our maximum automatically adds in that 3%.
Yeah, but that just doesn't mean anything to me.
Well, that's just what they're saying, is that.
But I mean, then they have the right to check that.
Well, that's the goal.
That's the goal.
I know that. But until that's the reality,
Right, that's the goal.
I understand, and that'll make things easier.
Yeah. We're hoping by 2018 that would be what happens, but depends upon the legislative session.
So Monica's big raise wasn't included in your salary calculations, it was?
It is, it's calculated in there.
And then that takes you well below the budget cap.
Right.
And that part-time person is in here too?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes. And I have somebody in mind for it if it's allowed. She's already trained. She wouldn't need to go to any certification trainings. She has plenty of experience. She's been a supervisor in the past, so we would save training dollar money there.
But you have to advertise for the.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. I wouldn't just be able to consider her. If there were others there, I'd have to consider other people too.
So is this mandated by the federal or the state government that we have to have another worker, or this is just based on workload?
This is based on workload. It's just a respectful request that you consider it, because I'm kind of in trouble keeping it all going. Any other questions or anything for me?
Well, I guess I didn't follow it through on the budget. Did you completely eliminate any expense associated with that building you're in?
Yes.
Yeah, see, someone's still gonna have to pay the expense of the building.
Well, we kept in the money that it'll cost to run it, like electricity, garbage, all that. It's just the remodel loan payment is not there now.
That's done, yeah.
2 loans are done.
So the heat and electricity, that kind of thing.
That's
is
all
still in your
accounted
budget.
for.
That's all
Yes.
in there.
Right.
Just the loan, the van loan payment and the remodel loan payment. And there's a couple more payments left on the building.
Yes, but those were coming out of the county.
Oh,
portion. They weren't coming out. of-
That came out of the emergency fund, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what we looked at was, because what you had asked was to budget as though we were still in that building through this next year, even if everything works out for us smooth. So it's all there.
No questions?
Anything else
Thank
with
you,
that?
Sia.
So will you send us the actual salary that Monica's going to be getting,
Sure.
and then you're gonna raise Jennifer's salary by, it looks like 3%, 1360 she's getting, and she needs to go to 14.
Yeah, I'll find the other forms for you. I'll give them to Sam and have her email them out.
For ease of budgeting, could you line item these salaries?
We already did, and we had already sent that to
I
Sam.
put it in your guys' packet that first time, that all of
In your budget?
it's not in here, it's in your packet that I had in.
No, I want a line item in the budget, so we can look at so we can go look at the expenses for the.
Yeah, we did one.
No, but I mean, it needs to get put into the line item in the budget.
Okay.
So that then we can go look at this chart.
Just like we would like in the sheriff, deputy sheriff.
Right, there you go. Same thing.
Oh, I see.
That's what he's looking at.
So are you stating that you want it broke out for one person
Right.
Yeah.
in the budget itself?
Or person
Right,
eligibility.
so subcategorize the salary into what comprises the salaries.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
We should probably do that for the road department too.
Yeah, we should.
But we can add that to the same thing.
All right.
Add more pages to Ron's spreadsheet.
I'm getting paid by the page, so.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he gets the same amount for each page he does.
Do you want me to just give those amounts to Sam, send them to Sam for like individualized amounts, send it to Sam too, so she can email them?
That'd be good.
That'd be good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next is RTAX. And this one, you guys have a note that it's gonna be, C20.
Yep.
This one, you guys have a note that it's gonna be moved into DPS, document preservation.
No,
No, I think you're disbanding it, or.
we're going to move it to the general fund.
Okay.
And then be done with it, right?
Well, there'll still be, if you need, if what our tax is used to provide money for, if you need that, then you just come to the commission and there'll be money in
Right.
it. It'll just be more fluid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if that's fine.
Yep.
So,
You just, yeah, I mean, you can still access the money, it'll just be in a different fund.
right.
Okay. Document preservation. Well, so then we need to get rid of that plug number for,
Our tax.
okay.
Yep.
And then they just moved everything that you had requested over, so.
Okay.
Any questions for Kelly, or Kelly, any questions for them? Nope. Okay.
Thank you.
BSO,
Veteran Service Officer, he was fine with whatever you guys decided, so.
we just did what he asked, huh?
County agent, she left us.
What page is County Agent on?
25.
Sorry, am I going too fast?
No, we just, is that the correct number? I guess it is. You gave, I don't know, I was playing around with that number, but is 23,800, is that what you got from NDSU? Yeah, okay, and that's 50% of her salary, I think, so.
I think that final appropriation.
Yeah, I think we got it, we corrected it.
I think
Because
so.
I think I had a lower number in there at one time, and then that was wrong, so I think it's fixed.
I think I sent that
Yeah, because I
number
think it
out.
was based on the partial year, wasn't it?
You're right, there you go.
Yeah,
The confusion was 15,000, that was a partial.
Yeah.
Oh, he started in May.
Yeah, so
Thanks,
there was,
Rose.
Thank you.
there was 4 months without.
Yeah, there was some,
I think that's what skewed that.
yeah, I had it messed up somehow, I think.
No, you didn't, we just forgot to take into, so
Oh.
Sean mentioned that there was a partial year.
Okay.
We forgot to take into account.
Okay, well, it looks like we got to all the departments that the department head was here for. Is that about all that you would like to do with budget today?
Yeah, I'll try to give you a call.
Well, maybe since we got Jamie here.
Oh, sorry, county victim advocate, sorry.
Oh, County Victim Advocate.
That's on 22, I think, isn't it? No, 23.
Page what?
23.
The County Victim Advocate.
Oh, yeah.
What the heck? Refresh my mind. What did we just talk about with this item?
Well, we didn't really come to a decision. Find the most local place, I guess, where you guys wanted to spend the money.
Sam wants to take a break. You guys want a break?
Should we take a 10-minute break?
Been moved to second, and we take a 10-minute break. All in favor?
Aye.
Call the meeting back to order.
Okay, the only last one was the county victim advocate.
Yeah, I guess. Since we're not leveling forward anyway, I guess there's just.
That just needs to be given to the rate
Disperse somewhere.
entity to, so it benefits some of the other ones that's in the budget,
Mm-hmm.
or it was old.
And there's only a handful of places that can go, right?
Yeah, wherever they refer.
Cases too, right?
Well, I mean, that would be the place that I would
Yeah.
think that would be best to go.
Certainly.
Well, right now, we've got for expenditures, we've got witness fees, 1,000, Valley City, 1,000, domestic violence, 1,000, abused person, 1,000, advocates, 1,000, and North Dakota cause, 100.
You know, and I don't know what kind of membership we're supposed to be paying with that money, I'll be honest with you. That money's been budgeted like that since I started, and I won't have a budget like that in Nelson County, so I don't know what
What is Nelson County?
do you mean?
You say you, this is,
I mean, as far as setting up budget accounts, I don't know what those accounts were ever set up for. I don't know if we're supposed to be paying in those places. I don't think we are.
I don't know either.
If we were supposed to be, and we weren't, I bet they'd let us.
And as far as I know, there's no statutory requirements for us to pay members, any of that stuff. So I don't know what those budgets were ever set up for.
Right, and I mean, we show having $5,000 left at the end of
The only thing
17
I
if we
can think
spend
of
all of
is-
16, but.
Is $1,000 for witnesses in case we ever have a trial where we have witnesses. We have to pay the statutory $25 a day and there's travel expenses and that sort of thing. That's the only thing I can.
So this one can stay, and the rest can all get lumped together. What's an NDCAWS?
That's kind of the agency that oversees all these victim witness places. It's, I don't know what it is. It causes.
Do we send the money?
No.
Haven't.
As far as I know, we don't send anyone money. It's not a state aid. I mean, it's a non-funded agency, I believe, that oversees all these places.
So there's $4,100 that we've allocated to spend. But I mean, if we do that, then we could only do that one more time, and then we'd be down to whatever, our revenue's $1,000 a year.
yeah.
Where does the revenue come from?
Court fees.
Yeah.
Court fees.
No, that other account, I don't know. You guys said you want to go to the local place. The closest place the place that we deal with, the most local to us, is Valley City, the Youth Persons Outreach Center. I actually have an appointment to talk with the director there about seeing if they could set up more victim witness stuff for the county instead of just paying them for the abuse and the domestics and the abuse and the sexual assault cases. If they get that money, if they're willing to work with us more and do some more of the advocacy.
Well, it should go somewhere where Griggs County people are referred to, or.
And that's, they come up here, they work with the APOC works with the school, with any programming. That's who works in Griggs County, that's their territory. And actually since I worked with Safe and Devils, they had the advocate that worked with me had volunteered to come and do Griggs County, and I guess they got in some territorial dispute a year or two ago. So it sounds like it's kind of a territorial deal.
Well, we should probably reduce that. We probably shouldn't spend $5,100. It's going to be gone in next year, in 18.
Yeah. If we spend 2016 this year, but right now we're probably not going to spend 2016.
Well, maybe we should find where we can spend. Maybe we should spend like $2,000 a year and not just saying it's still going to knock in cash flow, but let it.
Yeah.
Can't we turn off the revenue somehow?
No, I don't think you said it's court.
I think that stuff's on court fees. I can look that one up. I've never really been sure what that other one was.
So I think we should drop that down next time.
Finding ways to spend money because you.
But I've never spent any money on these accounts.
No, I know, but they're not. Here they are accumulating. Why would do those funds have to go into a special fund?
Yeah, right. Could they go to the general fund?
Samantha, where does that money come from? Do you know?
The revenue?
Kelly said that it was any
Court costs.
yeah.
Well, that's a different one though. The one that's the $25 one, the victim witness one, that's court cost. But I don't know what these other.
So that's what this one is.
There's got to be a trail from where it came from, somewhere.
Well, if it's court costs, I mean, maybe it's.
Well, the victim witness fund, that's that $15,000 account, right? There's a different account in there that I think it's under Kelly's budget.
That's stuff.
Where's that one at?
Which one?
The $15,000.
There's an account with $15,000.
That's the county victim advocate.
Okay, that's the county.
It's domestic violence that you're talking about, right?
Domestic violence.
Okay, can I see that?
But we're talking about county victim advocate right now.
That's what we are.
Okay.
That's the one it's got.
Okay, that's the one. Okay. Well, what these are for is then those expenditures. Now I understand what you're saying. Those expenditures. That's the money that goes. That's our volunteer money that we send out to those agencies that are supposed to help
But we
us.
haven't been spending.
We don't send them to.
No, I know, but we're supposed to.
But do they all help
It's
us?
supposed to be, it's supposed to be sent out at the end of the year, whatever we've gotten into those
I would
funds is supposed
say-
to be sent out.
I would say cause puts on trainings for law enforcement and for state's attorneys and for the victim advocates. I would say cause and Abused Persons Outreach Center is where that money should be going.
But I mean, I think we should send out in 16, I think we should send out $2,100, and I think we should do that for 17, so
Well,
that this thing lasts a while.
But it is a revenue stream that we're gonna keep on getting.
Right, it's a revenue stream, but it's only been $1,000. So if we send pen 4, and
It's probably been more than that though, John, or it could be less than that. It's dependent on our court cases.
right,
So
well,
every case that we have is $25.
It should turn into an in and out account. That's what it should.
Yeah,
Really, that's what it should be.
and you could almost, at the end of the year, like you said, you could just send out all the money we got in the fund and reduce it to 0 at the end of the year.
right. Or if we buy a couple new fast cars and really bring in a lot of money.
Yeah, it's true too. But as far as who
Well, it doesn't, I don't think the code says that we have to spend it all at one time, so if we wanna entice those places to continue working with us, I understand what John is saying.
That's what I mean, just keep, so we've got 14,000, actually, if we spent 2,000, we would have $13,000
at the end?
coming into, at the end of 16.
Yeah,
And then we could spend another 2,000, so we would just keep, we'd only reducing it by half each time.
yeah. And as far as spending, you know, I know you could send a check to Valley City, but if we said, send a check to domestic violence or send a check to abused persons, you don't know who to send that to.
Right.
So we need to.
No, well, yeah, the abused person, that's supposed to be Abused Persons Outreach Center, I'm guessing what that's supposed to
In
be.
Jamestown?
In Valley City.
So we got Valley City in here twice then?
Oh, okay,
We got Valley City, 1,000, then we got abused persons, 1,000. If they're the same thing.
The way it was set up previously before I was here, Valley City may have been the Barnes County State's Attorney's Office because they had their own victim witness advocate that worked at the State's Attorney's Office, is my understanding.
And we got domestic violence and advocates. I mean,
I
who do you
think
send
that
the money to?
it could be simplified to
One
Abused
place.
Persons Outreach Center in North Dakota.
That really, what about witness fees? Send that to Valley City too?
Witness fees?
Yeah, there's witness fees, 1,000.
Well, those,
You can't do that, because
We
we
have-
might incur. them.
yeah, we have to pay, if we have witnesses, any lay witness or even expert witnesses, they're entitled to reimbursement. A witness is entitled to $25 a day reimbursement.
So that's where John's idea makes sense, that there should be a balance in this thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Good, yeah. So how about if we just classified Valley City domestic violence, abused persons, advocates, and cause all in one, and we just send them $1,000? And do it in 16 and then do it in 17.
Well, I would say based on the balance, maybe a little bit more, especially if I'm gonna try to get them to do more work for us.
We could send them 2,000, I suppose.
Yeah, 2 or 25.
Send them 2,000, and then witness fees are 1,000. Probably not enough for, at least for.
And we're gonna continue, it's gonna continue earning revenue, it's $25 a case, so right now we don't have any cases, 45.
No, but I mean, we're not, with $1,000 of revenue, that will just cover the witness fees. We're gonna, if we do this, if we send them more money, we're gonna end up having to levy for this eventually if we.
No, we don't ever have to do that. I mean, this is never supposed to be levied for. This is supposed to be just this account that sends off.
But if you want to build a relationship with them and we don't have any money to continue.
Right, no,
the
I
relationship,
understand what you're saying.
We shouldn't spend all of it right away.
Yeah,
You better
no, I understand that. I
Do 1,000 every year for 10 years instead of burning it all
In case you have a
up.
short memory.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so I mean, that way it'll last a while.
If we sent them 14,000, we'd have a good, really good 1-year relationship with them.
Unless they do it on the money.
And then they'll budget for it, and then they'll be short.
Check was cashed.
Yeah.
So I mean, if we spend $2,000 on that thing, or 1,000 for witnesses and 1,000 to the center,
Yeah, that's fine.
you're not getting nothing now.
Okay, well, you can make that change? Are we putting you to sleep there, Dana?
No, I'm just letting you guys talk and I'll just wait to the end and then you tell me what I'm
You
supposed to.
want to go on trip to Nashville?
What?
Apparently she knows where it is. Okay, anything else in here we need to talk about?
Okay. Is that all that you guys wanted to do today? Did we get to a point that you guys are comfortable with? Sounds good.
Ron and we should probably meet on Tuesday or something, go over one final time.
Okay. I sent you this version
Okay.
of the budget, so you want.
And then I have to send us the expense and revenue reports for the first 3 months through the end of August.
Yep, I gave you my end of the month report for the expense and revenue for
Oh,
the end of August.
Did you send that to me already?
I did.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, could you print that out for us and just leave it up here so when we come there next week we got it?
Absolutely.
Thank
You guys read that letter from Ray?
you. Yeah, good letter.
Yeah.
I had a lot of phone calls on that. People saw it on the agenda, and wow, that got a lot of attention. I had the Grand Forks Herald called. I had just a bunch of people asking about that.
They were hoping we were in hot water
I
again?
think so. I think something was going on.
Because I just said letter from citizen.
I expect the worst of us.
Yeah, wow.
That's not gonna make the front page.
And then she said, she put citizens, so I'm looking for more than one.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
So I'm gonna be sick today.
Did you pass this on to Dennis?
Dennis got his own.
Okay.
So I was looking for, okay, where are these letters at? And then there's this one in there, and it was like, he's just super complimentary of Dennis.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that's not going to be too big of a problem. Oh, what did we do?
Nope, but Dennis got his own, so this one was for you guys, and he got the one for himself.
This Senex 10-year plan, they plan to do nothing in our county.
No.
I don't know why they even.
I suppose.
Is it something they have to keep active?
I'm
or-
sure there's some bureaucrats making them file these reports.
Gotta do an annual report.
No, that's nothing.
And then the contractor agreement with K&J.
We got the contract.
And Hope Glass.
Yep. Was there any cement bids last week?
No.
No.
There was a gentleman that stopped in and was asking for information on that, I guess.
Today? Yeah, he came up to my office and he gave me his card. He had heard that you guys did not receive any bids and he would like to put in a bid. And I gave him the bid packet. I said that I would talk to you guys because I wasn't sure how this can be done after you've already bid it out twice. I didn't know if you guys could just go with somebody and just say,
It has to be advertised again.
Who was it? Local?
Eric Anderson, I think. A.E.
From Finley?
Anderson Construction or something.
The one's doing the C-store.
Is that what it is?
That was my friend.
No, that's Brend Construction. Oh, no. What's his name?
Crippled.
No, Brend.
Yeah, Brent, the partners, I guess.
Yeah, him and Paul are working together. Can't remember his name. Anyway. There's a Anderson Concrete out of Fingal, but I called them already and they told me they didn't have time, so I don't know where this one's from.
I could grab his card.
No, that's fine. What are we on now?
Old Courthouse and Courthouse.
We're on these courthouse contracts for K&J and Hope Glass. If you guys want to authorize my signature, did you see anything in there?
You prepared these contracts now? You did?
They're the same as that
Yeah.
last one.
And I move that we authorize or sign a contract with Hope Glass and P&G Flooring.
Been moved by John to sign the contracts with Hope Glass and K&J Flooring. Is there a second to the motion? Seconded by Dave. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any future further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. John?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Ron? Sean?
Aye.
Troy votes aye. Motion carries. Oh, there's a work period on there. Did we say,
There's 60 days from the contract award.
oh, contractor warrants all work for a period of blank months following completion? Well, that should have been in the bid if you're gonna put that in there. You can't just
No, I understand that.
slide that in there now.
I understand that.
Yeah, it might have been in the specifications, the warranty required that.
I don't know.
I don't remember it.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
It's not in there. I'll let them fill it in. It might be 0. Okay, the next thing on the agenda, I believe, is new courthouse, old courthouse. And I see Sam put this stuff in here from East Fire Protection. Now, I don't know what to glean from that, other than we have 2 people that say we have a minor problem and one guy that wants to really do a lot of stuff. I tending to believe the majority.
Well, it's had a broken fitting, so that system takes pressure in order to.
Right. I'm just saying, I just think we should have that guy do it. And so, you think we should go with this Ace Fire Protection to do it?
He was the guy who was already up there and diagnosed it, right?
Yeah.
I was over there today, and one of the alarms is going off right now too.
Been going off for months. Because of this.
Because of the broken, okay.
Yeah. But one guy, we've had 3 people look at it, and one guy that came up, well, the guy that put it in isn't very fun to work with. And then the next guy that came up said we needed a new compressor, and that was gonna cost us $5,000-6,000 or whatever. So then we had this guy come look at it, and he was like, yeah, you need this fitting, and it's gonna cost $310 plus parts for $70. Guess maybe we ought to do that. Motion to that effect.
So moved.
Been moved by John that we hire Ace to come up and do the repair on the fire suppression system in the new courthouse and do the annual inspection while he's here.
Yeah, I was gonna ask him. I think he should do the annual inspection too, so. I'm glad you put that in.
I knew what John meant.
You phrased it real good.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Ron. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. John?
Aye.
Dale? Aye. Ron?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Troy votes aye. Motion carries. Anything else?
On the very back, you guys do have, I did receive a Window cleaning proposal.
Why would we get a window cleaning proposal? We didn't ask for one. did we?
Yeah,
We'll put
this
the glass
gentleman,
in it.
this gentleman stopped in and he just wanted to give us a proposal. This will be for cleanup after construction and then to do windows afterwards. So I said that I would bring it to you.
You mean to clean up the courthouse after,
No, clean up the windows.
We'll clean up the windows,
not the courthouse?
Windows.
Oh,
just windows.
Each department head gets to clean their own windows. Yeah.
I would think. I mean, there's not that many windows.
Final cleanup for construction should be done by the department heads.
I mean, except for the front of the front of the building there's a lot of windows up there, but can't the janitor?
The janitors do clean the windows, and I didn't know that until yesterday,
Yeah.
that they actually do come up and clean the windows. And so over there, it's gonna be a lot easier to clean the windows.
All right,
So I just decided I would bring it to you guys.
that's fine.
So now with the concrete work, how would you like me to proceed forward? I know that there was discussion that you wanted to discuss it today.
Yep.
Well, I think it needs to be advertised again if we're gonna bid on it again.
I think we should take an emergency action and just hire someone to pour the sidewalk and then bid the rest of the project for next spring. Or with the option.
But we still have to advertise, right?
Absolutely. But I think we could probably keep it local. We could probably advertise in the local paper. I'm sure there's people that would be willing to work next spring. Have work lined up now. Just contractors this time of year are just always swamped.
We're getting so close to the end of the season too, by the time we go through the advertising process.
But could we, Jamie, just could we hire someone to pour the sidewalk?
I don't think legally we can, because then we piecemeal the project out, and we're supposed to be getting bids on it, since that's my only problem with doing that, and I haven't had time to really take a look at it, but I think we're gonna run into that problem.
Did your fellow take a bid packet today?
He did.
But we're not piecing it out to avoid bidding it.
No, we're not, but I haven't had a chance to research to know that portion of it.
Well, then let's bid it with the sidewalk portion having to be done this fall, and the rest of it can be completed in the spring.
So we advertise it that way?
Yeah.
Do that. I mean, maybe somebody will advertise it and do the whole thing this fall. That's fine.
Right.
Sidewalk portion, that's that whole big chunk that goes out to the street, that big white part and the sidewalk.
No, just so we get access.
Where you come in the main entrance.
Just that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so we get access.
Yeah, that sidewalk doesn't go to the street.
Just the parking.
It goes to the other sidewalk, doesn't it?
It goes just to the parking lots.
Okay.
Because there's a light pole right in the middle of the door. The sidewalk doesn't go south from the main door. It doesn't go straight to the street. There's supposed to be grass in there, I think.
There's a pilaster right in the middle of it. If you line up the two doors, the sidewalk can't come straight out. There's a pilaster there.
Well, that's, you have the drawing?
I do.
Because
Well, I got the drawing of the
Inside.
inside.
Or is that one lane going to be right in the middle of the sidewalk?
well, it's sort of, this whole big thing is pulled out. And then there's something that kind of goes like this shape. And in that shape, that's where there's the two lights.
What?
They were big package?
Well, there's the tall guy, and then there's the one that's
No,
trying
it's
to put the
down.
flagpole.
Like this is all concrete here.
I don't have it up
But
here.
then you,
Who you got?
well, like this is the main door, I guess.
Here, let me go grab a big packet. Somebody down there?
Yep.
This is the main door here.
Yeah.
Here.
There's one right in the middle of that door.
Yeah, that's the one here and here. But what they're doing, they told them to leave this, to put landscaping in this area and concrete all the way around.
That's all concrete?
That's all concrete.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so just And then they wanted, I think they wanted they wanted 2 lights, 2 flagpoles.
2 flight poles, and there's 2 lights that shine up in the air there.
Yeah, and those are all within this area
Yeah.
that gets landscaped.
They're off to that side of the door.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly.
What's supposed to be an American flag and a
North Dakota
flag?
I don't know.
Or
Pirate ship.
I don't know.
brass plaque with their names on it?
Statue.
Yeah, the Ron Halverson Memorial Courthouse.
5 minutes.
Okay, but if we bid it out for 2 weeks, that's gonna push you guys to it would be 1, 2, that would be your October 7th meeting.
That'd be fine.
That's
They
fine.
can still pour concrete on.
Okay,
Let's see. Not sure if there's ever looking out. Is there one?
there was on the very somewhere.
Yeah, so there's that, you can't really see that thing in there. But that, yeah. Actually, one thing I had suggested at one time, and I don't know if we want to do it or not, but I said we could just just get rid of all this concrete and make it parking. But that probably wouldn't be a very popular idea with anybody. So I think what we want to take bids on is this entire chunk, right? And then they'll block out for that light pole. That'll be right in, you can't see it, but it's right in there. And then, we won't bid, they can put the sidewalk in the spring.
And it's in the spring.
Yeah, that's parking.
Unless you want to have a special meeting, open bids.
Yeah, and this is the door for
That's
welfare.
September,
But-
it would go in on
Well, yeah,
the
here's-
16th and
here's the door.
23rd, and then we could have it
Yeah.
What's
30th
this?
if you wanted.
Well, that's the dividing line between EOC and courthouse, I guess. I can't see the door on there exactly, but the main entrance is
So
right here.
here's the dividing line between the EOC right here.
Yeah, and they've done this. I think they poured it right up to, or have they? Didn't they pour it past this? a little bit?
Well,
Yep, they poured
that's the
this.
bid packet, and you guys can't tell what's supposed to be on? How are they gonna bid it?
It's called out in yards.
Well, and with Brend, I reviewed it with Brend.
Okay.
And I was willing to review it with any bidder who picked it up.
I see.
Because I figured they probably wouldn't understand it. But yeah, I went over this whole thing with Brend and pointed out.
Well, this isn't gonna be parking though, this is just concrete?
It's just concrete. Yep, it's just concrete. It's at the same elevation as the sidewalk. So
Right.
somebody in a wheelchair could
It's a
come.
plaza here.
Yeah, they could wheel themselves all around this plaza, or they could wheel down either one of these
Right,
sidewalks. And that's the welfare sidewalk, and that's the other sidewalk that goes to the existing sidewalk. And then there's some repair work in here and stuff. But I think we could just bid this chunk, and it's a pretty big chunk, and then have them, well, it says to saw cut that out, but
54 feet?
yeah, it's a wide chunk. But I don't know how you.
Why do they saw cut it out? I mean, they still leave it there, they just saw around it?
Well, I think it's just a nice, neat cut if it's saw cut it out.
Rather than form it.
Yeah, probably it gives it that shiny edge or something.
Well, I mean, you mean there's no concrete right in the middle there?
No, there's no concrete right where, like this pole and this pole, those existing poles, there's no concrete in that thing. And they got it at
Saw
a,
cut what?
well, they said to saw cut out, like to pour the concrete, then they said to saw cut it along here.
And then throw concrete away?
Yeah,
Oh, God, I would do that.
that's what the architect specified.
Right.
But I mean, we can easily enough change that to just have them form that. And I told them to put landscaping rock in it.
Right.
Because I said we're not gonna landscape it, but this is what we want to bid, right?
Right.
I think so.
Okay.
I didn't realize.
Well, we need to bid the whole thing, but then
Right.
in the
this work to be completed, this, before freeze up, this work can be completed.
But if they wanna do it all.
All right, can be completed later.
Right.
But this has to be completed in the fall.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what we thought, I just don't know what size you want to do it, but if that's the size, that's good.
Well, unless we want to change it.
You know,
You wanna put that in form of a motion?
Yeah, I move that we advertise for the concrete bids again, and the bid form that is developed will specify which concrete is at the very front entrance. That concrete will be placed in the fall, and the remainder may be placed in the spring if they can't get to it this fall.
yeah, and what, should we make it a June 30th deadline in the spring?
Yeah, maybe.
Enough time?
Well, yeah, it should be.
I mean, if we get up against it, we can have a discussion.
Yeah.
I'll second the motion.
Been moved by Ron, seconded by John, that we put the concrete out on bids again. Just local paper?
That we advertise, yeah. For 2 weeks, is it?
Do you wanna go to the local,
Just local.
paper? And specify that the very front of the building, to gain access to the front door, needs to be done this fall, with the remainder of the concrete being placed in the spring by the contractor if there are time constraints. I don't know how you worded that, but.
Yes.
Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. John?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Tom? Aye. Troy votes aye. Motion carries.
And I'll tell them they don't have to sell it.
Right, just form it.
Yeah, just form it.
We're just gonna put rock in there, and we can stand up along the building, so.
Yep. So, did we set a bid date?
I think that's Century Code does that, don't they? Oh, a bid opening, you mean?
For the, yeah, when are we gonna open the bids?
Well, we're advertised it to be in Thursday's paper.
2 weeks after.
Where's the date here?
September.
We could have a special meeting on September 30th if you would like, because it'll go in on the 16th and 23rd.
Okay.
September 30th?
If you would like to have a special meeting to open bids.
I think so, yeah.
Otherwise, it'll have to wait till October 7th, which is a whole nother week.
I'd give them an extra week to get the work done.
Right.
So October 30th, or September 30th, sorry.
Right.
September 30th, okay?
My turn.
What's that?
For finish work in the new courthouse, I guess.
Not yet.
Okay.
I was just gonna say, right after that, then we'll have to probably figure out the carpentry bids and the mechanical bids after September 30th, depending on how much money that thing comes in at, and I don't know how we're gonna do it. We'll do it shortly after September 30th, so that.
I suppose to our advantage would be best if they just did part of it this fall and then they have the money to finish other things.
Yeah. So.
Well, I guess that'd be the other side.
Yeah, I don't know what the carpentry, I don't know what those bids are gonna be.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Somebody's gonna have to decipher from the drawings what's left. We don't even know what it's supposed to look like, do we?
no, not really. Especially the courtroom.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's all I have.
anything else have anything? Anybody else have anything?
I guess, yeah, I'm requesting as far as finishing some of the work on the IT side before carpet's laid. Getting approval for, I guess, doing that stuff. We have, like wireless system, so the access points put in, wiring all the jacks up, getting them on, and then finishing the work in the courtroom before carpet's laid down.
A wireless system?
Yeah, finishing all the access points in there, finishing all the jack wires, and then in the courtroom itself, we have wires and ceiling that need to be run, so we need to put up scaffolding. So I'll get that stuff done before carpet's laid in, I guess.
Okay. Do you have any guesstimate?
Oh, yeah, there was a February meeting that gave you some prices on that stuff.
Oh,
So the courtroom system, we're estimating that at about 3,100 to finish all the equipment in there. That's not gonna be all that I need to do right now, that's the complete work. So once carpet comes into getting all the video systems, the distribution systems hooked up. Wireless system, we got about 1,600 to finish that out. And then probably about 2 to 3 just to finish the, getting all the jacks and network switches programmed up. So we can hook it all that way, all the connectors are ready to go.
200 to 300.
2,000 to 3,000 for that.
About 7,000.
Yeah, and the thing is too, like, some of the work I like to get done before carpet's in, just so we're not damaging it, especially with scaffolding. And then if I'm already in there working, might as well just finish up, so we make it full day, get everything done we can. Or if it's gonna be 2 days, we're not coming here and there for an hour kind of thing, so.
And that's for the courtroom and everything.
Yeah, so the mounting the TV, getting the wires around the ceiling. I think there's plastic still on the electrical systems. The lighting system. Electrician actually asked me if I was up there to start pulling down that stuff, so we can get that when we're doing that as well. So, because otherwise, once we put carpet in, if we put scaffolding, we got to put padding down and try not to damage anything.
Okay,
So.
there's no work for the electrician except.
No.
Except.
Well, the electrician would have to come back and take that plastic off.
What you're gonna do.
If I'm up in the ceiling putting wires, I can usually start pulling the plastic down.
it's just that protective.
Yeah, it just
Building.
I
I noticed that.
So I'd like to get that done before carpets and make it easier, so we just put wheels on, wheel stuff around.
I'll move that we authorize Travis to do the IT work in the new addition.
Then you're gonna be done?
So whenever we move in the equipment, that costs you, taking computers from here.
Right, but I mean, you'll be done with the running wires?
Yeah, all the installation stuff will be done, so just the setup, and then when we bring the new people, or when we bring these employees over that are in the old courthouse, we have some training to do on the new phone system, little things like that, so.
Okay.
But that's all, I can email this again, I guess, to Samantha. I think I showed it to you guys in February,
Okay.
if I recall correctly, but.
Is there a second to Ron's motion?
I'd second.
Seconded by Dale, is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. John?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Troy votes aye. Motion carries. Anything else? Sam?
I'm good. Oh,
She woke up.
Yeah?
could I make a proposal, please? Could I make a proposal that my light switch get moved in the closet in my office over there? The doorway got moved and the light switch did not move with it.
In your new office?
Yes.
I think you should just get a clapper.
It's like way on the other end, and so it would be no problem. Like, we can get a little light if we need to, but then we'd have to leave a opening to grab the light switch. And I just thought, if it's not that big of a deal, if we could get that moved, I would appreciate that. Doesn't have to be done. I don't know when that's got to be done, but I was just.
Let me look at it and see if we can get up above there.
I guess I have one more thing too. Schultz Plumbing was here on Monday or Tuesday, I believe. They're looking at the air conditioning system. If you recall, this winter we had issues where that was shutting off due to the cold temperatures. I spoke with the gentleman yesterday. He said he should be getting some prices to me next week for options for as far as putting an inside unit that would be able to run during the winter time, so the outside unit's not or that's made for all that stuff. Then, so whenever the next meeting is, we'll make sure I get that on the agenda. So.
Seems like in the wintertime, you should just be able to run an exhaust fan.
Yeah, and that's the problem. There was nothing. That room's completely sealed. So, depending on what the prices they come back with, maybe we can look at maybe trying to exhaust something too, I guess. But I'm not sure on the code on that fire code, but I'm not sure how much it costs. He didn't give me an idea, but they're going to do complete. I guess they do electrical work too, so they can do the complete job.
bid on a price on that now, so.
Okay.
But the nice thing about that, it would be a backup too, so if something did fail, that would, basically we would be setting one at, 5 degrees lower or higher, so if it fails, it'll only kick in at that time then, so.
Schultz is gonna fix that, is that okay?
Well, they're giving prices for options for us for that, so.
Okay, so in a couple of weeks they might have.
No, he said next week, so I'm thinking probably by Wednesday you'd have information for me, so I'll email that on to Samantha. That way it's in your guys' packet for next week and discuss that, and that way too, if it's like it's a huge number, we can look at, say, maybe we look at a venting option or something else we could do with
I
that.
prefer backup plan be a box fan and open a door instead of spending, buying another cooling system, but we'll see what they say. No such thing as a cold weather compressor?
When I was speaking with the architect, when we were talking about this, I actually sent them over actual systems that were designed for server rooms. She never used them. She went with this system, I guess, and supposedly it's not actually spec'd out for our cold weather, so. It's supposed to go down to like 20 below, I think, is its rating, which, we get a little cold than that sometimes, so.
But so a system exists?
Yeah, there's systems that are designed, basically they operate, like I said, they move air around, so you're exhausting it into different systems, so they're made for server rooms. But did not get installed.
It just seems stupid to ship that heat up.
And I guess when I talked to Schultz about this, I'm not sure if they're able to do this, but the first technician I spoke with, I was asking them actually about that unit, if we could actually dump that hot air into our return system, so that in wintertime, we're using that heat generated from the air conditioner in the actual heating system then. So they said they were looking into fire code regulations if that's possible, and so that we're not just wasting that heat.
Okay.
Easier to issue everybody iPads or iPhones. Systems.
I move we adjourn.
Yep.
Been moved by Dale to adjourn. Is there any second to the motion? Ron seconded the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Meeting adjourned at 4:28 p.m. Next meeting will be September 23rd at 1 o'clock.